I'm on right now?
You're on right now. You're live.
That's all right. Here's looking up your old address. Mr. Ryan, good to see you, sir. Welcome aboard, man. You can see I'm being as entertaining as ever. I've had a long day, dude. A long day of moving things and going to the dump. But things are looking up. Get your fancy water there, Boat.
Fancy water. Done.
Very good. We may have to release the Kraken around this side of the table here soon. That's good. That helps. Hop on in here. Get you some of this.
Hey, Michael.
Thank you, Dunk. Appreciate that. What am I having here? Black Bush.
Black Bush.
This came from
Scotland's finest. The estate of Graham Vebke.
This came from the Graham Vebke collection. God bless that man. I've never needed a drink like I do today.
Mm-hmm.
This is even the cup he gave us. And you
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? Little sip cup. Thank you, Michael. I'm feeling my age today, gentlemen.
Where are the Grayborn Studios, Michael? That's where he works. He's a Grayborn Studios.
Cool name.
Yeah. World famous software development house. Spread all over. Spread all over. That's the best way to do it.
We should be watching his podcast.
We should. We should.
After looking on Discord, I think that a lot. I'm like, what are we doing?
Everybody's better than us.
Maybe that's the appeal.
Maybe so.
Laugh at the monkeys.
That's West Virginia providing that kind of entertainment since its founding.
They're going to throw poop.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Get a little bit of.
I got to spend a lot of good quality time in a not fun place yesterday, Bo.
When you were at that prison for an hour hanging out?
Yeah, you go, dude. Just put the camera on and start coding. you remember Tori Amos?
Yeah.
I loved her stuff, the old stuff.
I like her stuff a lot.
And you know, when she gets on she doesn't just, how would you say, she used to make love to the piano.
I never heard that.
She would, because when she played piano, she wasn't just up there going like bing, 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 bing. She was going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Edvin. And that's what you should do, Michael. If you're going to code, you've got to get up and gyrate. You know what I'm saying? That'll get people to twitch.
It would.
I would watch someone do that for about 5 minutes.
Put some Euro dance trash on in the background.
That's right, man.
Edvin, tell me you're in the man cave right now. I need to hear that. Jeez. I'm already trashed. Come on.
That's bad when you drop the bottle of water.
Yeah.
Is it open?
No, luckily. But it's going to be all fizzy now.
Oh, he's in there, Boat.
All right. I'm
Having
glad.
some sort of weird beer. No
Yeah,
doubt.
he is. Some kind of nitro-fueled nightmare.
Boat's getting liquored up on Perrier.
Yeah. That's the only thing I drink. Perrier and Dom Perignon.
Remember that Weird Al song, This Is the Life?
Does he talk about Perrier and Dom Perignon?
Yeah, no, he talks about Perrier. His bathtub's filled with Perrier. What can I say? This is the life. Back when Perrier was a big deal.
Right. It didn't come in a plastic bottle back then.
No. Bottled water's come along. It's been a weird journey for bottled water.
That's a podcast
Hey, Colin.
right there.
Ooh, Metro Siege. Oh, dude, I saw that.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry, Colin. We're going to talk about that on the show.
That was Amigo Bill broke the news on that.
Yeah, I did.
He
Got an exclusive look.
Oh, he's got a lot of jack.
Did you see him hanging out with Kevin Smith?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he's just chilling with him. He's like, this is my buddy Kevin Smith.
Listen, Bill.
Then Obama shows up and he's like, hey guys.
He's high five.
Yeah.
Bill's got a lot of cheddar. He's got a lot of jack. He's got a lot of people know him.
Women want him. Men want to be him.
Yeah. I wonder what that's like.
I'll tell you.
I've got the exact opposite problem. You know? So there you go. But yeah, that looks great. See, that's the game the Amiga deserves. I'm going to go on record.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll say it again when we're actually making the show.
Yeah, we will talk heavily about it.
Look at all this crazy. What's all this stuff?
That's what a WordPress dashboard looks like.
Oh, man.
You don't ever, you don't eat.
What did you have me sign up for today, by the way?
Oh, that is
What's that?
that's a new thing that charts our podcast placement
Oh,
on
good
all
God.
of the international charts. I can
So
tell you
that'll be depressing.
that our
Did
Sinclair
we chart?
our Sinclair is actually charting higher in most countries than Amigos is.
Hey,
So I don't know what that means.
I don't either. What does that mean?
I don't know.
What's charting mean?
You know the iTunes charts? It's like the Billboard charts.
Yeah.
Except instead of people care about, it's a bunch of people nobody cares about.
Uh-huh.
Well, we're on that chart. We are
Really?
popular enough to chart.
Really? What the Sinclair show is?
Yeah.
Is
yeah.
Amigos on there too?
Amigos is on there too. We are somewhere hovering around the 600 range in the UK. In the US, we're somewhere in the 800 range of video game podcasts.
If you've been watching our numbers, our UK and European ratio, we're getting killed in the US compared to what we're
Well, there's a lot
getting
more.
here.
There's a lot more podcasts in the U.S. Everybody's a podcaster in the U.S.
but
It's like being a
we're-
DJ in the U.K.
We're in the US. That's what I can't figure out.
well,
Surely people over here need this is important. They need to learn about these machines.
it's the exotic element. People look at us from Europe and they're like, "Ooh,
Is that what it
Americans."
is?
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe
we're
we should
rare
wear a
breed.
hula skirts or something, or like one of those fruit bowl hats.
You wear a hula skirt and I'll wear one of those cheese heads from
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
We should both dress like Uncle Sam. Or I'll be Uncle Sam. You can be a cowboy.
Okay, that would be good. That would be good.
But I demand you be like one of the cowboys, like from. You ever seen? I'm trying to get the video from. I'm losing it. The band that sings.
The night they drove Hold Dixie Down. That's the band.
No. Depeche Mode. You ever seen the lead singer of Depeche Mode in his cowboy
I've
gear?
seen him live.
But have you seen him in? No, I believe you. But have you seen him in his decked out in his cowboy gear?
No. Did he used to do that? Was that a thing?
He's a video where he's decked out. That's what you need. Cause he just looks Euro cowboy, and you could pull it off because you're the same kind of head.
That's like that song. Save a horse, you're a cowboy.
Euro cowboy. That's it. Yeah. I hate that song. Yeah.
You don't like European people.
No, but no, I'm talking about the American version. By the way, ride a Euro. I'm sure that's not too keen on that. That's weird.
That is weird.
That's
I wouldn't wanna
and
do
is that the money or the people? Also, I don't call them Euros because you're really grouping a lot of people into one weird name.
You are.
You know, let's see. You're the same as someone in like it's like the people in Ireland are the same as the people in Bosnia.
I think it's funny how Euro kind of sounds like Yugo, and that's not a positive association.
Is it personal Jesus? It might be. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Johnny Cash did a version of that. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Johnny
Johnny Cash here at the end, he was just making all kinds of crazy stuff.
It was called "Give Me Some Cash."
Yeah. Oh no, it worked. He can still go.
Yeah, well,
he did that 9 Inch Nails cover.
It's kind of like Ray Stevens.
No, it's not.
Agree to disagree.
Is he? He's still alive.
Ray Stevens is still alive.
Well, I mean, it's not like that because you insinuating that Johnny Cash was dying, so he made a bunch of crazy stuff. Ray Stevens should do anything he can right now because when was the last time you heard a song from Ray Stevens?
It's true. He does a lot of Ross Perot songs, topical.
Ross Perot. How about some political stuff?
Read from the headlines.
I love that song. I like some Depeche. I like me some Depeche Mode. They're selected.
They're
works.
probably one of my least favorite bands of all time.
Really? Why'd you go to their show?
One of my buddies liked them. I don't know. That's probably not true. There's a ton of people I hate less than Depeche Mode. But I like their first record when they were like the Backstreet Boys of the 80s.
Oh, God.
P-R-E-T-T-Y. Oh, and they've got some good stuff, but a
those
lot of their songs are just unbelievably depressing.
Are those slacks comfortable?
Yeah,
Because
man.
They look kind of tight.
Well, no, they're not.
What are you doing at school? A little Elvis hip shake?
They look tight just because of the way I'm sitting. Also, I'll put a lot of things in my pocket.
I noticed that. I never wear some in my pockets. Never have to.
Yeah.
I can't handle it.
Yeah. So you gotta have some tightness. But these, I mean, it's like sailcloth. It's so smooth. It's very breathable. Yeah. Feel me.
See, that's no good. That's like church pants clothes. I don't like that.
No. Compared to regular khakis, these are way better.
Necronob's into Depeche Mode. You're killing it with your bad words on them.
My favorite Depeche Mode songs, Any Second Now, What's Your Name? That's the end of the list.
Yeah,
all the rest of them
I hate to be generic, but the most of the songs I liked from them
were the ones that were on the
ones
radio
that were hits,
when you were delivering
including
pizza.
Personal Jesus and Enjoy the Silence, which are one of my all-time favorite videos. I love the video, love the song. I like that song. Or you're bad mouthing Depeche Mode now.
Yes.
I think that's ridiculous. And the thing is, you get on me all the time. Come on, you got to give Depeche Mode. They're not sellout pop artists. They're out there doing what they want. They've been doing it the same way for years. You got to at least give them that.
I don't know. Depeche Mode is kind of like, it's sort of like Nirvana, Rocky Horror, and Kevin Smith. Like when I was in high school, I thought they were super cool, but the older I get, the lamer.
Well, here's the difference. First of all, Rocky Horror, shut up. Secondly, Kevin Smith, yes, you're right. It was cool, and now it's not.
Yeah.
Who was the third one? Depeche
Nirvana.
Mode. Oh, Nirvana. Listen, I will admit, I think I like Nirvana. I like a lot of their stuff. I think Kurt Cobain was a dipstick. And it's the fact that whatever happened to him, and there are speculations, but I even like Hole. So there you go. I even like the chick everybody hates. I like her band. So there you go. Listen, I'm the same guy that like Public Image Limited stuff. So
I thought you were going to say Public Enemy, which I'd be on board with because I like Public Enemy.
I said Public Image Limited. Johnny Rotten's band, Johnny Lydon's band.
No, what was their hit?
I don't know if they had any, but I liked some of their tunes.
Public Image Limited?
You know who Johnny Rotten is, right from the Sex Pistols?
Yeah.
Johnny Lydon. He had a band, another band, Public Image Limited. They had some good tunes. I liked them.
Were they a punk band like the Sex Pistols?
They were
New
sort
wave?
Of, they were yes. I would say that would be
kind of like Human League.
No, I wouldn't say they were like that.
What were they like?
I mean, they didn't sound like it, but I
kind of like a New
I'd
Order
go
sort
like
of thing.
Like a Clash or something, or that's not really.
So
no,
really punk then.
No, how about I get to give me a minute, but it's collegey, college-esque, edgy, poppy college.
It's right on the edge of college music.
Yeah.
Right on the fringes.
I listened to you were talking about Shane R. Monroe. He went to a show last week, and he saw was headlined by the B-52s. And the second act on the second billing was Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark.
OMD. Yeah, man.
Them?
Yeah.
What song? I don't know. They have like 2 songs.
I think they've only got 1.
Okay. And then the opener, I was surprised that these people were opening for Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark, was freaking Berlin. And Berlin actually had...
you posted that video, and you said that they've got a wacky story, but I didn't investigate further.
Well, that's okay because it's the reason I bring this up is I have a soft spot for Berlin. I love some of their songs.
I like that album that Bowie did in Berlin, but that's probably not related, right?
But Shane said that during the concert they announced that this was the first time, or one of the first times that they'd been there with the 3 of the original members since they broke up 400 billion years ago. So I guess they made up. So Chick and 2 of the big members are back.
I've got to imagine the B-52s can only be profoundly depressing to watch.
Didn't one of the B-52s die or retire?
Well, he had. Yeah,
didn't the blonde die?
No. She's got to be still alive. I would have heard about that. But I mean, like, because the 2 girls were always so attractive back in the 80s. And
well, it's not just that.
Now,
listen, if they aren't. We're all like that.
But the thing is, getting younger.
These chicks their intertwining harmonies were glorious.
Sure.
And then they had Schneider in there.
Yeah, just
that weird freak.
Sprechstong is what the technical term of that.
I played my buddy you ever listened to his solo album? It's got "Monster in My Pants" on it.
I've never heard his solo.
You ever heard that song "Monster in My Pants" from?
No.
I played it to my buddy. He couldn't freaking believe it.
I can't imagine that album charted.
And he was give on no B-52s.
Right.
So it's like, there's a monster in my pants, and it does a little dance, and the chicks go, woo, monster! And they're not the B-52s, just some random chicks.
Right.
And it's him, hey, dancing around like a goof. I mean, because he's a goof.
Yeah.
He's entertaining.
Yeah.
But I mean, he don't sing.
No.
He doesn't rap. I don't know what he does.
Well, it's Sprechstong. That's the technical term.
There's
actually
a word
that describes. There's a Wikipedia page.
Was it made specifically for him?
As far as I know, yes. I think it probably existed before him, but it's only applied to him. So if you get any B-52s fan and they corner you at a party, they're going to tell you all about it. Stay away from them.
B-52s, I like some of their stuff.
You like that song "Roam" if you want to roam around the world?
No, I don't. Some of that stuff grades on me.
Yeah.
Like Low Shack, the first couple times I heard it, I was like, this is a great. They played it 4 million times.
What about the girl from the B-52s that sings on "Shiny Happy People"?
No, that's you
don't like that song.
I know, and I knew when I was in high school that song came out. Mm-hmm. And I would sit in the hall like a dead man with my hair hanging over me, just like curled up because I was so tired. Mm-hmm. And she would come around and she would hop around me like some kind of a nymph or something and sing that.
That sounds pretty good, man.
It wasn't good.
You get any nymphs hopping around you?
No, I wanted to murder her. Murder. How's your internet been this week?
It was out earlier today.
Oh,
He
good.
gave me the report.
Are we okay right now?
We're okay right now. So BC-52s, that was the peak.
Hideous.
I had the Flintstones soundtrack.
I'm sorry.
This was one of the things that I bought because it had that Green Jelly song on it. Anarchy in Bedrock. Wacky and Banter.
Those movies were appalling.
Twitch.
Appalling.
And it also has a really underrated Crash Test Dummy song on it. Remember them? When you go on camping trips.
I remember them.
Just
They
look
sang that
right
song.
Yep.
Once
That's right.
There was a girl.
Also immortalized by Weird Al.
Yeah, he did it better. We better crank this up while the internet's holding steady.
Okay.
Bud. Oh man, look at that good-looking fella.
He does look great. He's got that MAGA hat on.
Make America full of bull again. Mission accomplished. This is actually a rodeo hat.
Yeah, it is.
It is. I thought I'd wear it today.
They call the thing rodeo.
I don't want anyone to see that I'm balding.
I need to write down the song. Do you have any songs? Did you think of any songs that I might know?
Aren't we
I was thinking about
podcasting them?
I was thinking about the song that you gave me last week. They didn't get science fiction double feature. Nobody got that song. So if they didn't get that,
okay.
no one would get any other song.
Why don't you do one of one of the acts we were just speaking about? You can
Okay.
sort of like go that route.
I'll throw it on. Do you ever breathe out your mouth and you just start to slobber all over yourself? Because that almost happened to me just now.
Too much Perrier for you. All right, let me turn off my ring-a-ring-ding here.
That's right. Rock Lobster, Samwise.
Rock Lobster!
And then there's a Sushi and the Banshees song on the CD32. Sushi and the Banshees.
Susie.
No,
Susie.
it's sushi.
No, it's not sushi.
It's sushi like the raw fish.
So there's another band. Is it a parody band?
No, that's what she always said. She said, "We're Sushi and the Banshees."
No, she didn't.
Sushi like the raw fish.
No, it's Susie.
And then she strapped on her Nazi armband and went to town.
She wasn't a Nazi, was she? Susie Sue's a Nazi?
Look it up, man.
Okay. If you're bad-mouthing her, you don't
I'm
want
not
her.
bad-mouthing her.
She's a scary chick. I would want her on me.
No, that's why she's playing for the other team.
What's that mean?
Like I said.
I gotta look into this because I think you're yanking my chain. Remember you did this to me last week when you tried to trick me. They're from London. Did you know that?
I'll look it
I
up.
did not know that. I don't know why I thought they were from America. I guess I
No.
shouldn't have. Well, I didn't know. Listen, I've only heard one or two other songs. Personal life. Hey, she's married to Bungie.
Wow, married to the whole team, huh?
Uh-oh, they got divorced. That's too bad. I don't see anything here about her being a Nazi.
There you go. Right there. In 1976, Sushi Shu of the Sushi and the Banshees was also known to wear a swastika armband with the fetish S&M clothing.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean she's a Nazi. That means she's
It just means that she's down with the clown.
Well, no, you got to understand something, Bo.
Okay, tell me.
Listen, I'm not saying, hey, let's all go do it.
Let's do it.
That was a different era, and a lot of punks.
Back then, it was okay.
Hold on.
Right?
I didn't say it was okay. A lot of punks wore that kind of stuff. A lot of them wore the accoutrement of stormtroopers and Nazis. I'm not justifying. I'm not saying that, but I don't think that necessarily means she was into the Nazis. I just think she was.
It definitely probably didn't send the message that she didn't like them.
Yeah. Bam. Thank you. I mean, a lot of these punk rockers were. Listen,
Are you saying that they were going for shock value?
yes, they're
Okay.
they're idiots.
Okay.
I mean, you've never seen a more idiotic. Listen, they were as intelligent as their talent level of musicianship, right? Sid Vicious could not play guitar.
No,
He had no idea, and he sure as heck couldn't do anything else.
That's true.
He'd take drugs. He could do that.
he was pretty good at that.
So yeah. So, but I've never heard it pronounced sushi. It's always
Sushi.
been Suji and Suji because that's the gimmick. Because it's sort of like Sioux, like I don't like the Indians or whatever.
Talk to me, chat, especially those of you from the UK. How do you pronounce it?
That's another reason I thought she was American because of her name. Because I assumed she was a play on the Sioux.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Thank you. Thank you. Sushi. I mean, listen, she's a goofball. She could be. I'm not going to say you're wrong. She may have actually said that quote that you probably made up.
All right, let me make sure I got everything going on here.
You've got everything going on, pal. I can tell you that right now.
But you got it going on.
Man. I printed out several reams of paper on this game, all of which are now pointless as I played the crap out of it. But I printed out. You can't say I didn't do my due
Did you read
diligence.
Dreamcatcher this week?
I did not.
about-
I haven't been in the store.
It's about Nightbreed.
I saw that movie, and I'm willing to talk about it.
Just get ready to talk about
Oh, I'm going to
Nightbreed.
tell my Nightbreed theater story again.
Okay.
Have I told that one?
No.
I've got an interview here with the guy that did Pang, by the way, that I wrote some excerpts down.
All right. You ready?
Are you kidding me? Look at me.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Amigos. This is John, Boat of Car Schaller, and this is...
I'm Aaron.
Today, guys, we're going to be talking about the classic port of a classic arcade game. Bang! I
Yeah.
want to live forever.
You're ruining that one.
No, I'm making it better.
No.
Aaron,
Remember who sang that, by the way?
that was the singers from Fame. That was what they were called on the record.
I thought Irene Cara was the lead singer.
Irene Cara?
Yeah.
I thought it was just like the ensemble
Same chick that
cast of
sang
Fame.
What a Feeling.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense because that does sound like her voice. Yeah,
I know a little bit about
Cara.
Irene Cara. Also, a star in DC Cab. DC.
What is DC Cab?
It's a hilarious 80s film with a bunch of comedians in it.
I thought it was a reality TV show about a DC cab driver driving around picking up random people.
It might
and hearing
be
their life
now.
stories.
It might be now.
Irene Cara.
Cara.
Yeah.
Look her up. She's great. She's got several good songs. She caught that disco era just right before it died.
Where would you put her up against Kiki D?
Higher.
Higher?
Higher, much higher. Although Kiki D was British,
Yes.
and we don't know much about what she did except for that one song.
With Elton John.
We could do that duet sometime.
We
Do
could.
you want to be Kiki D or Elton?
Elton.
See, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Aaron.
You already brought it down a few notches
Well,
there after pegging the board.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking about Pang.
All right.
Okay. Can you think of any arcade games that are less descriptive about what they're about than Pang? Because if you think about the other one-word arcade titles out there, you got Tapper. Okay, it's a beer tap.
Yeah.
You got Frogger. You're a frog. You're frogging around.
Yeah.
Pang.
Well, what about Berserk or Frenzy? They don't tell you anything.
Well, but those tell you about the emotion that you're feeling when you insert a
So
quarter.
you say it's the fact that it's a word that we don't know. I
Yeah.
don't think this was released here as Pang. Wasn't it Buster Bros? Wasn't that the American
I think that's
name?
a different game. I think that's
No,
Snood.
No, it's the same game. I did my worky work.
Okay. Well, we'll have to talk about that later.
That's okay. I never ever saw this in the arcade. Ever. Not one time.
For right now, Aaron, let's talk about this week's Amiga news. This week, it's been a crazy busy week in the world of Amiga news, Aaron.
Has it?
First of all, I don't know where you were last weekend, but you were not in Norway.
I know.
Because in Norway,
It was
they
going
were getting
down.
down and getting funky over at the NAUG, the N-A-U-G. N, of course, stands for Norchester Rundfunk, or some city in Norway where this thing went down. There were prizes.
Ooh, look at
there was
that.
fun to be had. Look at these trophies. Somebody printed out, like, I don't know if these are 3D printed or what, but the
I thought they just
NAUG,
spray painted some stuff.
maybe so, but the NAUG crew was in full force. Look at these guys just standing around. You can tell this is in Norway because the room's
Now wait
completely
a minute. Hold on
white.
a second. Are you sure that's not the Chippendales convention over there?
No, well, that's true.
Look at those handsome, strapping young men.
These are now a
They
couple of
probably
these
had to
guys.
bar the door so the ladies wouldn't bombard them with smooches.
Absolutely, a couple of these guys we recognize right away. We've got Edvin Helland, Paul Harrington, Boss Man. We got Figgy. We got Reflections, and I believe that this might be Leif Killand, the Amigos community NOG picture. And look at Figgy. Look at him wearing those things. I don't even know what those things are. What are those, welding goggles?
His geek cred's off the charts.
Yeah, it is, man. Norway is awesome.
I love it.
Anyway, Paul Harrington took home most of the awards, as you can tell from the trophies here. Leif Killand won the Sensible World of Soccer, then Paul Harrington. So it was an Amigos sweep of
It
goodness.
looks like our guys were like one third or one half the total attendance.
Absolutely.
I will say, as I recall, Paul is didn't he crush everyone in our Amigos challenge?
Yeah, Paul is that was Paul Kitching.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But Paul Harrington is also a gaming savant. In
Clearly.
Amiga Ireland, he was just wiping up
That's
the floor.
what I'm talking about.
He
Amiga
was
Ireland.
known for crushing the competition under his heel.
Oh my!
That's what he does. He's the
Well.
boss man.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Those are cool trophies. I dig them.
So make sure if you are in Norway and you are not a NOG member,
Nog up, son.
yeah, NOG up. Yeah, check out their Facebook page. They're always planning new events and new fun stuff.
You gonna is Nog next on the list of the Boat World Tour? You gonna swing over to Nog sometime?
Absolutely, absolutely. Up next, Aaron, this is just a random video that I found on YouTube that was uploaded this past week. This is a tutorial on how this guy is making new music on his Amiga. This is an Octamed MIDI sort of walkthrough.
Ooh,
this is a guy who he's a musician, obviously, and he takes you through all of the different sort of accoutrements that he has hooked up to his Amiga. He takes you through all of the different things, and this was amazing to me because if you recall,
he's got one of those gimmick VGA adapters I've been looking at. Yeah,
we did a little sequencing at Amigathon this past year.
Well, very little in my case.
Yeah, I mean we pretty much mastered the program.
I embarrassed myself yet again.
And so this guy, he takes you through all of the different hardware that he uses. Then he takes you through the Octamed software. He talks about how it's tracking and stuff. If you're at all interested in this guy is, his name is Ravi Stabs, and you can check out his fine work on his channel. And I really enjoyed this video because I thought it was cool. I'm a big hardware guy. I like to see lots of like crazy stuff hooked up to computers.
Hardware.
Yeah, musical hardware.
Yeah. You gotta specify in your case.
And so this guy has it all. He's got it all, and you can still do lots of awesome stuff with the Amiga. It's such a shame, you know. We always talk about the ST. One of the differentiating factors was that it came with those MIDI in and out ports standard right out of the box, you know, built in.
Yeah.
This thing you need an extra breakout box for MIDI support, but it's just it's amazing. I love seeing it. And it's kind of inspired me. You know, I've got the plastic Fantastic Mac with GarageBand installed.
Okay.
I may be doing some more musical activities soon.
It's wacky that there is another Ravi-esque Amiga music guy walking around.
Absolutely.
What are the odds?
Absolutely. So check out this guy. Up next, Aaron, we finally have a sense of closure here with our chum Neil over at Retro Man Cave.
Yeah.
If you'll recall, a couple weeks ago, we talked about how he interviewed Echo.
Yeah.
But it turns out that this was actually not the real Echo. This was some random dude who was masquerading as the real Echo, aka the composer from the music of the Jesus on E. Is it Jesus on E? Is that the name of the demo? And so the music. It turns out that Echo, the real Echo, is still around. He's still a dude, and
he's still a dude.
Yeah, he's still a dude, and he's interviewed by Neil on this week's Retro Tea Break. So if you're at all interested in seeing kind of the finale of what's been a truly bizarre happening in the world of the Amiga, Neil breaks down what happened and talks to the real Echo about developing the music for that timeless Amiga demo. Can you think of any more famous demo than Jesus on E for the Amiga?
Yes, but I don't remember the name. So yes, I think there is a more famous one.
I don't think so.
I will say that this guy looks totally normal.
Yep.
And not what I expected. I don't know what I was expecting. A guy that's dressed like a Devo outfit or something.
Well, you got to remember, probably back in the 80s when he was doing his demo work, he probably walked around in one of those Devo hats all the time.
Yeah.
But now he's a little bit older, a little bit slower, much like the rest of us. Aaron, let's talk a little bit about our boy Amiga Bill.
The Bill.
Amiga Bill was fortunate enough to break the news on probably what is the biggest Amiga news of the last part of this year, if not the entire year.
Wow. I'm not going to oversell it.
I don't want to oversell it, yeah. But there is a new game, and then the game of this game is, what is it, Mean Streets? That's not true. What do you think it is? It's like Metro.
It doesn't matter what it's named.
There's a Streets of Rage type game.
It's called Metro Rage or something like that. But it's basically Streets of Rage on the Amiga,
right?
Effectively.
Now, this is not Streets of Rage on an 040 with an accelerator card with 512 gigabytes of RAM. This thing runs on an OCS ECS Amiga 500. This thing looks amazing. Metro Siege. Thank you, chat. This thing, I couldn't believe it. I watched a lot of this stream, and there's only one level done so far, so it's still early days. But Bill talks to the developer, and he talks about the various trials and tribulations of developing an independent Amiga game in 2019. Have you ever seen anything that looks quite this incredible on the Amiga before?
Listen, I mean, It looks tremendous. There's no doubt. It's got two players simultaneously.
You're about to trash it, aren't you?
No. I'm not terribly. It looks great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not underselling this. I'm not terribly surprised that this happens because, from my understanding, and I didn't get to see Bill's stream. I just saw some clips of this. I've been in prison all week, as you know, but
don't say that. We'll get
that's
queued
right.
up by YouTube censors.
I was working in multiple prisons, but I knew the Amiga could do things. A fighting spirit told me that something like this could happen. A beautiful game that could be made, and we've seen enough from like Lionheart and other things. We knew that on the plain Jane Amiga, you could get some pretty nice graphics, some pretty nice color, and I think you've got a team here that knew how, from what I read, these guys have a grasp of Amiga programming that I think a lot of people don't have. And
yeah, including you and I.
Well, no kidding, Bo. Thanks for specifying that. But I think this looks really good. It's my kind of game. Garbage, go around, smash people.
I'll tell you what sets this game apart is the fluidity of the animation of the main character and the enemies. A lot of the beat 'em ups that we've played on the Amiga, while graphically, this looks great, but the other games that we've played have also looked great. I'm thinking about Shadow Warriors in particular.
Yeah.
Do you remember covering Shadow Warriors?
Yep. Yeah.
Shadow Warriors looked great, but it ran incredibly slow.
This is what Bill's drinking out of. He's got like a mason jar.
Well, that's how they do it up in New York.
What's he drinking?
That's a little.
He making his own hooch? Yeah. No wonder Amiga Bill's so happy all the time.
Hey man,
he's got the Amiga Bill blend.
If I was Amiga Bill, I'd be drinking huge and living life.
If you're a Bo car, you do that.
That's true.
But no, I'm very excited. It looks good. I mean, the guy that he spoke with, from the parts I saw, seemed like a pretty happening guy. Knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And these games are fun. I mean, they are. Just go around and beat the crap. My kid will be very pleased.
And I'm very excited. Even though this is an Amiga 500 game, they're including two-button support, two-button joystick support by default.
I told you they could do that on the 5.
Bill asked him, he's like, why are you doing this when most games were only one? He's like, listen, if we only ship this game with one-button support, we'd be underselling, because lots of people don't realize, even in this day and age, that the 500, all the Amigas, had two-button support from the get-go. The 9-pin joystick adapter can support 2 buttons. I mean, the Genesis proved it. So this guy I really liked listening to this guy. He seemed like he was really down to earth. He understood what he was trying to do. He wasn't trying to overshoot, what he was capable of. And I can't wait to see this game in person.
Yeah, I think it's great. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
And good job, Bill, as always. He got the super duper scoop.
Oh my
He even
gosh.
scooped some of the big scoopers.
Well, he is the scoop.
Well, he knows everybody.
His nickname's Hot Scoops.
Is it?
Yes. Aaron, that's the end of Amiga news for this week. Why don't we switch on over to what the Dreamcatcher has been up to?
Now, I didn't get to read this article, but I will say, having looked at it, I'm very excited because I get to tell my crazy story.
Tell me your crazy story.
So, Dreamcatcher has.
Oh, wait a minute.
No.
You are Aaron Boone.
I'm close.
Okay, this is what this screen says.
Isn't Aaron Boone was one of the Reds?
He was the Red. Do you know what he's doing these days?
I don't.
He's just got a little job called he's managing the New York Yankees.
Oh, well, there you go. You go. So he survived the Nightbreed. The title screen says you are Aaron Boone, Nightbreed. That's what he was reading. So. Nightbreed is a game based on a film. Okay, now I saw this film.
This is that song. Working on a night.
No, that's not it. So picture yourself, it's 1989.
Okay, I was 8
or 90, right in that area. A young Aaron is struggling mightily at college because I don't go.
That was your first year.
It's a problem.
It was also your last year.
Didn't like going to class. And so I would go down and catch matinees at the old Keith Albee Theater.
This was before they fixed it up, and it was real grungy and
the
dirty.
Keith Albee Theater, it's been around since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
It's old as dirt. I mean, in American terms. I mean, I'm sure there's theaters in the UK, it's like, have been around when Napoleon caught stuff there or whatever, but we don't have that stuff. So it's been around probably for 100 and some years. So I used to go and get matinee tickets, and because I used to have deals, and you could go see matinee. So I would say literally, I would take a jar of change in there and be like, ching, 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 go out and go out, and I'd smuggle in some Diet Dr. K.
Oh yeah, I love Dr. K.
And some generic chips or peanuts, whatever I had, to go in there and sit down. So there's a theater. The Keith Albee has multiple theaters in it, but originally it was an actual theater for like it still is like stage performances and stuff.
Yeah, it was a vaudeville theater.
I went to a theater that was the smallest one in there, and the weird thing about this theater is it's all balcony. There is no floor seating in the theater. It's one big balcony, and then you've got the screen, and you're pretty close to the screen. So I'm in there, and I'm the only guy that paid to see Nightbreed.
Wow.
All right, so no one's in there. And so Nightbreed, and I'm not what I would call the bravest guy.
It's true.
So I'm watching Nightbreed. I'm getting kind of chilled out, a little chill. And so the only way to get to the bathrooms in this theater, you have to go down the back stairs where you came in, go into the lobby, and go down a ramp that goes. You can see the ramp from where you're at. That goes right under the screen into the bathrooms, and the bathrooms are down this flight of stairs that bows the building. Okay, and this theater had its own bathroom. So I see this creepy dude walking to the bathroom.
Was he one of the Nightbreed?
I could have been. And I'm like, man, that's a creepy looking guy. So anyway, time passes. I never see the guy come out of the bathroom, and I've got to use the bathroom, so I don't think much of it.
Don't go in there, man.
So I rolled into the bathroom. Right now, keep in mind, this guy can't leave this bathroom. All right? So I walk down to the bathroom, and it's empty. Where'd he go?
I've heard about people that can dislocate their shoulders and maneuver out like very small windows.
There's no window. You're underground. There is no window. If there was a fire, dead. So the Keith Albee is built over a series of tunnels. Did you know that? In Huntington.
It's like the internet. It's a series of tubes.
No, this is a series of tunnels. So like in Paris. As much as, like sewer tunnels.
Like the catacombs in
That's
Rome.
right.
Yeah.
Huntington has some of those.
Yeah.
And the Keith Albee sits over it, and there are actually panel and stuff so you can go into a tunnel. So if he did that, that's the only way he could have escaped this tunnel. I think he was an apparition. That's what I'm saying.
Interesting.
And who knew they had to hit the can? I would never have guessed that.
We've all got needs.
Anyway, movie I thought was crap. I don't know if I mentioned that.
Is it a zombie movie?
It's a goofy film. It's hard to explain.
Is it like Fright Night?
Do you see that guy right? No, it's way not that good. See that in the pictures that we watched, but there's a guy that has
kind of
like
looks like an alien.
He's got wormy sort of
wormy hair.
You know that Rastafarian.
Yeah.
He's got a kind of worm version of that. It don't work.
No.
So, yeah.
That was a bad move, going with the Rastafarian worm dude.
It's funny. I really recommend watching this. Just like get you a few bottles and watch it, and just like think, man, this is some dumb crap. Another movie I recommend is Stephen King's Night Shift for the exact same reason. I read the book, but the movie was, well, the book wasn't great, but the movie was real dumb. So that's another one I recommend. It's garbage.
Okay.
Look at that guy. He's got blood coming out of his face.
Yeah, he's bloody Gandalf.
Yeah. Yes, he is. So there you go. But yeah, I think I saw a ghost there. And the theater's supposed to be super hot.
Now, let me ask you a question. If you were put to the coals and you had to choose between the time that you were at Davaroni's and you got real dizzy and then you drove home past the graveyard and you saw the zombie woman or apparition at Keith Albee Theater, which one of those is the real ghost?
Apparition at Keith Albee Theater, because I was under the influence of some kind of weird hallucinogenic drug when I was on the road outside Davaroni. So I'm going to say that's a real ghost.
That's good.
Plus, I doubt Standard Food is haunted, which is where I saw that ghost.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Well, you never know. It is right beside us.
It's right beside a cemetery.
That's what I mean. I saw her right at the edge of Standard Food in the cemetery.
Right.
Yeah. That was where I was.
That's what they say. It's like Ichabod Crane. Once you pass the bridge, it's like once you pass Standard Foods, you're entering her territory.
Well, we should have like a Halloween show, and we can spotlight on all of our various ghost tales.
Halloween's coming up, man.
Yeah. Every year. How many more Elvira games should left? Isn't that our worst show every year? Like 10 years running, or 5 years.
It's hard to believe this will be our 5th Halloween show coming up.
By the way, read the article. It's great.
Yeah.
We had a conversation about Dreamcatcher on the Discord this week.
We did.
Because he's like a mythical figure. He's not on the Discord. He's sort of...
he exists apart.
He does. He's not our kind.
Yes. He's
on a higher plane.
Yeah. I compared him to sort of like, Andy Warhol, Bob Dylan, and T-Pain. He's an artist.
Who's the third guy?
T-Pain.
T-Pain?
Yeah.
Who's that?
He's a rapper.
I don't know him.
He's on a boat.
Fair enough.
Let's talk about this week's game, Aaron. This week's game.
It's a Norse game.
Wasn't that like a Superman thing? Like I am Zeus.
I don't know. That was a Hulk Hogan thing.
Oh, okay. Was his nickname Zeus?
No, remember he fought Zeus. That's your favorite
Oh
wrestler.
yeah, I forgot about Zeus the wrestler.
Oh man, I can't believe it.
I know.
That it happened.
I can't believe it myself.
So this week, and I knew we were going to come to this game eventually because I know you like it, and I know a lot of people do. It was time to get our pang on, to do some pang action.
Who wrote "Get Your Freak On"? Was that Rick James?
No.
It was a female artist.
The first
right?
time I ever heard it was it Queen Latifah or one of those?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sure maybe she hoarded. Maybe it was just a saying. I don't know. So the year this came out was the glorious year of 1990. I recall that year because I believe that's when the Reds won their last world championship.
It was also when the Wheelers won the South Atlantic League championship.
It was a good year for baseball, and then it's been crap ever since.
Ever since.
This game came on one big floppy, obviously, and had a maximum number of 2 simultaneous players.
Never played the simultaneous.
I haven't either. That seems like you would want to kill the guy with you because it would be harder.
Yeah.
You know. So I looked into this. Now this was developed by Ocean France.
Interesting.
And I actually looked up. I found this fascinating. Now amongst the we've actually did a couple games that they covered that they did developed, including Bad Dudes. I'm bad. Beach volley. That's it. Not ball. Beach volley.
Yeah.
Cabal. Ivanhoe. Operation Wolf. Plotting and Toki. Remember Toki?
Yeah. So these guys have a pretty good track record as far as converting arcade games.
Somebody had an interview out with a fellow named Mark Dejan, and he was basically one of the guys that helped run this company. Now, from what he said, it was totally under the auspices of Ocean proper. So it was under the UK auspices, but it was in France.
These guys were just like contracted software developers.
Yeah. So, and this guy, Mark John, set them up from scratch, and he was there. They were there to code in 16-bit Ocean projects, basically. And it was set up in '86, and they worked on, like I said, they worked on quite a few games. They did quite a few ports of arcade stuff. And like I said, if this is an indication, they did a good job. Now, one of the games they did that didn't get released was Liquid Kids. You know how much I love that game.
Well, who did do the Liquid Kids Amiga
No, they
game?
did do it. They didn't get to release it.
Really?
Now,
so all the times I've played Liquid Kids on the Amiga, it's always been an unreleased
There's
version.
a reason. So here's what they would do, okay? So what they would do, apparently, was they would start coding games before they actually had the rights to them. Whoops.
Yeah,
and
bad
so
idea.
they coded that one, and then they didn't get the rights to it.
Really?
And so that's why they didn't get it released. That's from what I've
Well, I guess
seen.
it's better than have your programmers just kind of sitting around on the clock.
If you look at this, they had a bunch of unreleased games. Okay, get this: WEC Le Mans, Liquid Kids, Snow Bros. I'm guessing that's the same thing.
That's an N64 thing, I think.
Hammerin' Harry. All right, that's another one. And they and I don't know. I can't explain why those didn't get released, but he mentions Liquid Kids by name. He says that didn't get released. Another thing they did was a game based on an Adidas license that didn't get released because they didn't have the license, basically. So that's what they did.
What
so what
would you think? What would you think an Adidas game would be?
I don't know. It's just that it was a product game. It didn't matter what it.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm just asking the question.
I don't know, running or tennis or something.
I was thinking about it's what Adidas stands for, man.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not that shtick.
Oh man, I hear it every day because I teach middle school.
So before we get real heavy into they still use that one, do
Oh
they?
man, it's never gone away.
Before we get real heavy into Pang, the Amiga game, let's talk about Pang, the arcade game, Boat.
Okay.
Like, number one, did you ever see this in an arcade?
No.
Okay, I didn't either. I never saw it in an arcade. It was developed by a Japanese outfit simply called Mitchell. And if you're a Mr. Science Theater fan, you'll find that phrase alone amusing. And it was published in North America by Capcom.
Okay.
Now listen to this. I didn't realize how many ports Pang had. Okay, you got the TurboGrafx CD. I thought that was odd.
That is odd.
Super Nintendo, PlayStation, Game Boy, the Specky. Got it. C64, Amstrad.
Well, I mean, really, this game is so simple at its core. It could really be ported to anything.
yeah. Of course, the Amiga, the Atari ST, DOS, and the iPhone got a port of this thing too.
Pang Adventures is available on PS4 for under $19.
Yeah, they had tons of sequels. So this came out in the arcades in '89. It was just your standard fare. And the Amiga version, I would say, I've played both, and they're very similar. I mean, they're very similar games. So let's look back on the actual Amiga release. So as I mentioned, this came out in '90, and was an arcade port, and I would say, having played the arcade, a good port. Now, you want to explain? I mean, I can try to explain the gameplay because it's bizarre. You're a guy.
Okay, let me try.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, think about asteroids. When you blow up an asteroid, it makes smaller asteroids. Okay, think about if you were on the ground level, and asteroids were bouncing down towards you. So every time you shot one, it would make two smaller asteroids, which are also affected by gravity. You have what is effectively a hook shot, if you're familiar with hook shots, or a hook shot if you're familiar with Zelda. And you can send that thing up in the sky, and either if the hook part or the chain part touches one of the bubbles, it will burst into smaller bubbles. And the bubbles get quite small before you're actually able to defeat all of them.
I thought it was more like a harpoon. Or also, who was it, like Strider, one of these guys? One of those guys had one of these gimmicks where they throw it's like a string with a hook on the end, like a grappling hook.
I never played Strider, so it's possible that it's a Strider-esque weapon.
But I mean, it's more like a harpoon, at least the original weapon.
And the gimmick behind Pang is that it's a worldwide affair, much like City Connection, one of my favorite games. So this is you travel all around the world to defeat many globules of unknown origin. And you get a series of items that can help you. You start out with the hookshot / harpoon, but you can upgrade that to some guns that can do different things. There are different power-ups.
There's a double harpoon.
Double harpoon. And basically the level ends when you destroy all of the balls, when they get down to be so small that they can no longer affect you. So that is basically Pang in a nutshell. What makes the game more difficult is that the stages have different sort of obstacles that prevent you from just firing straight up in the air to defeat the spheres. And also they are multi-layered too, so there are ladders that you can climb up and get to the different things. It's a very, very simple game at its core, especially for being released in when did it get released in arcades? 89 in the arcades. But what saves this game is that it's very pretty. Your main character, it's kind of a Donkey Kong 3 perspective. Did you think about that?
I will say, with the addition of the platforms and the ladders, that play style did. I mean, it's not like Donkey Kong 3, but
it's sort of that perspective. I'm not really sure. To me,
it's goofy.
Yeah, to me, this is. I would probably not play this game if I had limited funds and I was in an arcade, because there's not a lot to it. However, playing at home, it's sort of a fun, mindless distraction game, and I enjoy it.
This game, because I was familiar with this because we played it on the Amigathon, and I played the arcade version. I started this game out and instantly died. And then died again, and my game was over. And so I turned on Unlimited Men.
Mm-hmm.
Then I died. Boy, did I die. And so I guess what I'm saying is I died a lot at this game as I trounced through all 50 levels, and with the help of a level code. And the funny thing about this is I may get smashed repeatedly on like level 12, and I might go to level 40 and kill it.
It's very random.
It's very weird. I will say they do ramp up the difficulty sorta, but I think all of it's difficult. And what gets me is the third level of ball. There's little ones.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the quote unquote power ups you get. It just disintegrates all the balls and the little balls. Sounds great, except there are 4 million little balls bouncing around, all out of sequence, and you're trying to run around like a maniac, and not get killed.
It's very similar to Arkanoid in that some of the power ups you question their usefulness.
Now I was the best I did was with the actual gun, the twin barreled, like it was like more like a shoot 'em up,
right?
But you would
and
often
then it's really a lot like Donkey Kong.
You would often get another power up accidentally and hose yourself. Another power up would make the balls go slowly, and one would stop the ball.
Yeah,
that was super handy. if you could get it at the right time. Of course, you could get these power-ups whenever you want until they disappear. They eventually go away. One of the irritating things is if you're playing one of the platform levels, the power-ups might fall in a place you can't get to, or you can't possibly get to, or a place that there's bad guys that you can't get past.
Right.
Don't really. I mean, part of me says there's a puzzle element to this. I mean, I guess there's the puzzle in this would probably be like the easiest way to do the level.
Exactly. It's like the path of least resistance.
But I didn't see it that way. I thought this game was, one of my problems with this game is I wish you could actually shoot diagonally and stuff. That would make it a little bit easier.
That would change the game.
It would change it, and I think it needs change. This game is super simple. Every time you complete a level, there'll be a picture of your guy in like a pith helmet going like, aha!
He looks awesome.
It was great the first 3 times, and then I saw those same pictures 40 other times.
Yeah, that's true.
They've got 3 or so pictures, and that's it. So if you're looking for that now, the levels have music. Sometimes the music's pretty good. It's sort of generic.
Yeah, but I mean, it changes. It's not the same tune all the time.
This game was very arcade accurate in the same way that, say, one of the other one-screen games we've tried on this show.
Like Rainbow Islands.
Like Rainbow Islands. I mean, are the graphics going to blow you away or make you drop to your knees and bow down to the graphic lords? No. But they're good. They're for this game, they're totally functional. They're just like the arcade.
Let me push back a little bit, okay?
Oh, okay.
This game came out in 1989 in the arcades.
That's right.
Okay? This game was released on home consoles in 1990.
Mm-hmm.
So 1 year after this game comes out in arcades, you're getting essentially a version at home that looks just as good as the arcade version.
Correct.
There's not a whole lot of games like that where there's only a 1 year gap between release.
It's a simple game.
It doesn't matter. There's not a whole lot of games you can say that about.
I'm not killing it. I mean, you can't make the games better. It's perfect.
You can make them worse.
That's right. But what I'm saying is, if you're expecting like, it's a lot like I said. That's why I compared it to one of the other games.
I mean, think about Bad Dudes. Bad Dudes in the arcade and Bad Dudes on the Amiga do not look the same.
That's true. But Bad Dudes is clearly a more challenging game to pull off.
It is.
Here's the thing, and I guess this is the ultimate endorsement or damnation of this game. If you like Pang in the arcade, you will like this game. It controls fine. The button is there. You're good to go. All right. I didn't see anything wrong with it, and I've played this on my arcade machine. If you don't like Pang, this isn't going to win you over with any extra added bonus levels. There's a top score chart. There's you can change the difficulty, which I played on Moron, by the way. So I can't imagine what playing on the most advanced one would be.
I just put it right on the
it was
level.
Operation Murder. If it wasn't for the cheat stuff, I'd have been El Bono Grande.
Mm-hmm.
I found it a difficult game. I will say that. Did you not find this hard? I mean,
well, yeah. I mean, but I enjoyed my time with. I like Pang. I think like I said, it's a great game. You put on a CD, you put on some music, you just kind of zone out. You see how far you can get. I use the Infinite Life code too.
You had to, yeah.
And one of the, I don't know, it's just like there's something about the physics, the way that the balls bounce. I feel like it's.
Don't say relaxing.
Well, it is sort of relaxing, and I don't like the shoot 'em up part of it. I like keeping the hook shot, and I like when you fire the hook shot up and the ball bounces against the chain before it disappears, I like this game because it teaches you about geography. You go all over the world. You've got Ayers Rock, and which they call something else now in Australia. You've got Angkor Wat. You learn about all these famous landmarks all over the world. It's so much better than just having generic stage number 4 like a Load Runner or something like that.
Did you actually play to the States at all?
Mm-mm.
The States get one location, and it's New York.
Oh,
it's always
lame.
New York. And I noticed it's
Where's
funny.
the Milton Flea Market?
It's Hillbilly Flea Market not represented.
Yeah.
But this is another of those games. It's got the Twin Towers are in. I'm always like, wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, you get the power ups. If you get the right set, it's all about the power ups. If you get there's like Boat said, you've got your normal grappling hook thing. Then you've got a grappling hook that stays when you throw the original one up, it stays there for a minute and then for a second and goes away. Then there's this advanced version that will stay there for a long time when you throw it up. Then there's a double.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also mentioned that like the Vulcan gun. Then there's also a shield you can get. And the shield sticks around, I think, indefinitely until you get hit.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah,
but
right.
That helps.
Mm-hmm.
That helped me a lot. You can just kind of run into a couple things before you die. If you get like the Vulcan shooting gun and the shield, you can clear a level pretty easily.
I'll say this about Pang. Pang is the last of the red-hot classic arcade titles.
No.
Single screen,
Oh, okay.
easy to grasp, hard to master.
It is hard to master.
I mean, can you think of a game that came out after Pang that is a classic arcade style like this?
Well, I'd have to look at dates because clearly my brain is tapping.
Well, don't think about dates. Just tell me another game that you think might be around this time that's of that ilk.
Oh, dude, I've got no idea.
Yeah, to me, this is the last of
Probably
them.
probably one of those like Bejeweled type games that they got ripped off.
That's like Bust a Move or something.
Yeah, those things are single screen with cutesy stuff in them.
Yeah.
But this is a lot more manic than those. This game, it's funny how many times you'll die while your hook is stuck up in the ceiling.
Yeah, that is that.
That happens quite a bit, and when you've got no shields. I mean, when you've got a rain of those little balls, you're cashing in your chips. Something else when you die, there's no like, okay, you killed this many balls. No, you start all over on that level.
It's all or nothing with Pang.
And that's just the way it is. It's funny that these games, these sort of single-screen games, like this has nothing to do with Rainbow Islands or, any of those Bubble, but they all have sort of a same sort of cutesy art style, and the uppity music that makes you happy. I know you do.
It's my favorite thing.
I know you do, and I don't.
Yeah,
Which is why I like. It's funny. Of all these, Liquid Kids is still my favorite, and it's not single screen.
No,
that's probably why I like it so much. But I don't hate single screen stuff. This thing has 50 levels. 50.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And which the arcade had 50, and they go all around the world, like Boat said, and you'll spend 4 screens or so at each location. You'll get different palette swaps of like dusk setting or whatever, and it'll be nighttime. It's kind of cool.
Yeah,
and
it was a way to recycle the backgrounds without just recycling them.
Yeah, you can like I said, if you've got one of the hacked versions, you can cheat. Now it's funny. I read something on Hall of Light, which we don't give those guys enough credit because Hall of Light's also a tremendous website.
I mean, they are. You're absolutely right. They're number one. I mean, they've got what Lemon has is great, but what like Lemon has sort of the community aspect, and they've got a lot of like typed up manuals. But if you're looking for scans of anything, Hall of Light's your number one.
Hall of Light, they're Hall of Light and Lemon, which they complement each other quite nicely.
They do.
Anyway, Hall of Light had a note at the bottom that I found odd, and I thought I'd mention on here. So it said almost every 1990 scene release of this game had the very same characteristic. It was created from an unfinished beta. That's why the monsters that would normally appear in some later levels with the coin-op releases didn't show up at all. Only a few scene groups were aware of this fact and created their own release in the final version, so watch out.
Wow.
So that's a little head up if you're a dirty, rotten, stinking, filthy pirate. Make sure you pirate the right version.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I went through every level of this game, and I saw stuff on all the levels. Now, that much said, I'm trying to think if I saw monsters on any of the levels. And I don't think I did.
No.
So we may have...
Maybe we're playing the scene version.
We may have the wrong scene version.
I'm not... Aaron, I don't want to cast any aspersions, but we may be playing a cracked, pirated version of this game. I know.
I thought it just had a trainer at it.
It boggles the mind.
Well, that's how they get us every time, Bo. Now we're going to jail. Dadgummit. So, any parting shots on this one, Bo?
Like I said, I think that if you have fond memories of playing early 80s arcade games, single screen, kind of unipurpose type games where there's really only one mechanic, you can have a lot of fun with Pang. It's not the deepest game in the world, and it's not going to hold your attention forever. This is not Tetris. This is not going to keep you coming back for more. But it's a good game to keep in your rotation.
So get this, Bo, before we close it up. I looked this in the wiki and confirmed it one of the other pages. So in Japan, this game was called Pumping World. Was it called Pang?
I don't know. It seems like that's a better name. Pang just seems like it's the worst name.
In Europe, it was called Pang. So it was. Which do you think is better, Pumping World or Pang?
Give me Pumping World any day of the week.
So when this was released in North America by Capcom, the name was changed to Buster Bros. So that's where you get your names.
It's funny though because I don't think any of the home releases called it Buster Bros. I think they readopted the name Pang.
There was a
Where is the bro? I guess there is.
There was a Super Nintendo version. I think it was Buster Bros.
I've never seen a Super Nintendo. It must not have got an NTSC release.
Might be right.
Ocean, France.
You might be right.
Keeping it in the continent.
Now this game got a bunch of sequels that weren't on the Amiga. You got your Super Buster Bros, aka Super Pang, Pang 3, Mighty Pang, Pang.
Come on without.
Magical Michael. I don't know what's going on there.
It's got Jordan in it.
Pang Adventures. Not bad. So you got choices, and of course this has been released ad nauseum all over the place.
Yeah.
Let's talk reviews. Did we get any reviews from our loving listeners?
We did. While I'm queuing them up, why don't you read some of the ones you
All right, I looked up. There's a ton of reviews on this one. So our good buddies over at Lemon, your premier Amiga webpage.
Yeah,
that's
man.
not Hall of Light. One of those two. Gave it an 8.31. Super popular.
Pretty good, yeah.
Amiga Action gave this. It's funny they reviewed this. I've got two reviews. One in November of '90 and August '92, and they gave it a 73 and 90 and a 92 and 92. So it went up. Maybe it was a value thing. Amiga Computing gave us a 91. Amiga Format gave it a 90. Amiga Mania gave it a 92. Amiga Mania.
It's running wild.
Amiga Power gave it a 91. You can see these are all good scores. CU Amiga 86, the 190. Amiga Power listed this as the 11th best game ever in their first Amiga Top 100 list. Pretty good, you know. What do you got?
Graham Vebke says, your safari-suited guy shoots upwards of balloons to clear stages, but it's done in a different way to bust a move. These balloons, when they burst, sometimes drop power-ups that can be used to create weapons, shields, and other things that help finish the stage. The backdrops behind the gameplay are quite nice. The sprites are very colorful. It controls well, and the music I enjoyed listening to while playing. I didn't get a chance to explore the two-player options, but as a single-player game, it's quite fun and challenging to play. 7.5 out of 10. Chris Fold says, shockingly, I played this version before the arcade game. It's a fairly accurate port of this fast-action bubble game with good graphics and sound. It still holds up remarkably well and is a fun pick-up-and-play game. 8 out of 10.
That's a high score for Folds.
Yeah.
Because he'd be killing games.
Yeah.
I believe, I was commenting, speaking of Folds, before we close shop on this, I was commenting the other day that I was listening to an episode of a show where they were going over all the top Digger games of all time, and they did not have Mr. Do on there.
Right.
And I was like, how is this possible that we didn't have Mr. Do? And Folds told me he never played Mr. Do in the arcade.
Well,
couldn't believe it.
It's I never played Mr. Do in the arcade either.
Really?
Well, you got to think about, by the time that I was of arcade age.
Let me ask you, did you play it on any console?
No.
Really? So the first time you played it was in MAME as well?
No, the first time I played was on the Atari 1200 XL.
That's sort of console.
But I never saw it in the arcades. I didn't even know it was an arcade game until well after I was very old by the time. But however, Pixels at Dawn says that Mr. Do was one of the few games he remembers from his youth playing back in the day.
You know what would be good right there beside your your Mario Brothers would be a Mr. Do.
Oh, I'd
it would
love
fit
to
in
have
there
one.
beautifully.
I love those Universal cabs. They're so good.
Yeah. Oh, I looked this up on eBay, by the way, and you can get this bad boy for between $12 and $20 boxed. So quite reasonable if that's your bag.
Do want to wish a happy birthday to you.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Aaron. Almost 40 this year. And Lobsterminator over in Finland. Worthy Amigos family member and Discord participant. Happy birthday, Lobsterminator, over there in Finland.
I hear people over in that area, they literally age half what we do here.
You know, people in Finland, it's because of their diet. All they eat is crayfish and Crayolas.
The crayons?
Yeah.
Weird.
It's weird.
One of those nutty customs, I guess. Yeah.
We do have a new. We got some feedback on our last episode, Aaron.
Oh, sweet Lord, no.
This is from Trum, our good buddy Trum. We're going to talk about that. He says, I've been a long-time listener to the podcast. Thanks for all you guys do. He says, when a new episode drops, it feels like listening to some friends down the pub, chewing the fat and squabbling about some nerdy fact or other. He says, I always enjoy hearing about the various games that push the Amiga to its various limits, but even more so when I have strong nostalgia for a particular game. He said that when we were talking about Mercenary 2, it reminded him of a whole set of games that many of us Amiga owners in the UK had. The 10-Star Pack.
Ooh, 10-star.
So Aaron, we always hear about these packs.
It's a compilation of something.
Yeah, you got the Batman pack, you got your creativity pack,
Cartoon
you got
pack.
cartoon pack. This is the 10-star pack, okay? So the 10-star pack came with Amigas with an E instead of an I. I don't know what that is. The Art of Chess, Barbarian, Buggy Boy, Ikari Warriors, Insanity Fight. Sounds like this show.
Bingo.
Mercenary, Escape from Targ in the Second City, Terror Pods,
Yeah,
Thundercats,
and
of course you got to throw Whizball in there.
I mean, Whizball, the class of that batch.
Right.
Thundercats?
He said, I spent most of the time on Barbarian, Insanity Fight, and Whizball.
Can you say that again? That's
That's what I do when I'm sitting in a corner alone. I just babble.
Just sit there just to babble, yeah.
And he says his favorite game for the Amiga is Weird Dreams.
I've played that on the PC. I believe it was on the PC, maybe on the Amiga.
He said it came with a photocopied, stapled manual. The front cover was terrifying, and is still to date the only game I've ever played to feature a giant candy floss machine, a giant bee, a ball that eats you, and a desert. Yeah, a desert full of flying fish.
Reading's hard.
Yeah. He says, thanks for keeping me sane on all these long journeys. He says his job involves traveling up and down the UK at times.
Oh, man.
And this is from Trum. He said, you previously speculated on my iTunes review if my name was related in some way to Trump. He says, this is not the case. It's simply a shortening of my name, and I'm not a big fan of his. So we're setting the record straight. Trum, no fan of Trump.
I like it.
We got a new iTunes review, Aaron.
Sweet lordy.
This is from our man, Chokelod Smurfin.
Choke a Smurf what now?
Chokelod Smurfin.
Okay.
Or maybe Chalk Lad Smurf.
I'm going to guess that not an American.
He's from Sweden,
Okay, very good.
where all the best are. If you're into the Commodore or Amiga computers in particular, look no further. The Amigos is a nice blend of nostalgia and modern perspective on old systems. The hosts are lighthearted and fun to listen to, and they are surrounded by a great community. Thank you,
That's true.
Chocolate Smurfin. And if you have not left us an iTunes review and you enjoy the show, please do so. That really helps us get discovered because so many of the podcasters out there use the iTunes database in order to serve their customers recommendations. So we appreciate that.
I will say the Google has their own podcasting gimmick.
They do.
That's right. And I've got one of those Google deals.
You do
the
have
big
a Google
little
deal.
disc. What are those things called?
Google Home.
That's right, the Google Home. And you can just walk up and say, Google, play Amigos. And it just burp, it comes right up. You can say, Google, play ARG Presents. Bam, it comes right up. The Sinclair, it didn't work when I tried it last time. So we'll have to work on that one.
Yeah, we'll have to work on that.
I think that's neat. And
It is
because we've
cool.
been on Alexa for a while, so it's cool. You can just it freaks me out.
It's your voice on demand.
It
You can hear
is.
yourself talk.
I
whenever
literally,
you want.
I laid in my bed listening to me, and I'm like, Helen, what? What wizardry is this?
Well, it's what happens when you become unbelievably famous.
Is that
like
what-
we are?
Oh, yeah. Just the other day I was down at the Hillbilly Flea Market, and I was getting stopped left and right. Hey, aren't you that there, Amiga? Yes, I am.
Your average clientele at the
Will you
Hillbilly
sign
Flea
my
Market.
overalls?
Yeah,
Well, give me
huge Amiga
give me a
fan.
crayon, buddy.
So, last week, Aaron, the Patreon
You're not
song
wrong. Yeah.
was "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" by Aerosmith.
You know, let me tell you something. Funny you
Brother.
should mention that. Let me tell you something, brother. That song was on my mind all week because of that, and I sang it. I sang the chorus 100 times, and it was your fault.
You know, it's funny. It was also stuck in my head.
Good.
All last week, too.
I'm glad you know that.
So I want to congratulate our song winners, Terry Howard, who was instant
She was-
Terry Howard. She was on.
Jenny on the spot, if you will.
Pixels at Dawn, Tapes from the Crypt, who's launching a new site pretty soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, stay tuned for that. Barkbit and Chicote. So congratulations to
Well
you
done,
guys.
ladies.
So as always, if you know this week's Patreon song, please send me an email at john@amigospodcast.com so I can reward you in the best way I know how by saying your name live on the air.
Then immediately rush to your nearest ear doctor for some treatment.
We do have a new supporter this week, Aaron.
Oh, okay. Oh, boy. You
yeah.
gonna go wiggle him in, are you?
His name is Kilobytes and Caffeine.
Nice. Yes, I spoke with him.
Two
on
of my
Discord.
favorite things.
Now, when you get new supporters in here, and we do get some up and down, and how do you add them? Do you just put them at the beginning, the end?
I put them at the beginning.
Now, I know you go through rigorous, continual preparation.
It's continual and rigorous.
So after, let's say, for example, here comes this guy. He comes in. He's our new buddy. You add him. Does that throw off the whole song? Or do you have to just, is it a professional move where you just sort of add him?
Well, what I do, usually I start practicing the song, about 2 to 3 weeks beforehand. So if we get somebody in between that time, it kind of throws off my rhythm, but I somehow manage to overcome.
That stuns me. That stuns me. That
It's all down to my musical genius.
No, the part where you said you've got rhythm. That was the stunning part.
Oh, well.
Go ahead, crank it up.
Okay.
I need to get a laugh. What? There it is. It's the ritual weird noise you make before you begin the singing.
This might get ugly.
Wow, how out of character.
Kilobytes and caffeine.
Wait a minute, stop the song. You just stuck him right at the beginning?
I told you I put them at the beginning all the time.
Okay, go ahead.
Kilobytes and caffeine. Mike Deckard, Threepwood, Gary Heather, Free Lunch Kate Fox, David Pickford, Cameron Armstrong, Andy Jones, Lobsterminator, Craig McClellan, Tim Minute, Amiga Retrocast, Counting Virtual Sheep, Bernard Quinn, Retro, Man Cave, Tim Drew, Simon Rose, Joseph Harrison, Kyle Etter, Rob O'Hara, Howard Nibbs, Matthew Larimore, Andy Craig Shanzo, Darren Lomax, Con 419, Bark Bid Rolenberg, Andrew Monkshaws, Joe Zombie, John Cook, Dan Ross, Leaf Kellan, Alan Kebab, Checote, Level Lord, John Marshall, Matthew Perron, Ricky DeRocha, Creepy Dead Boy, Figgy C, TZ the Slow Norris, Stefan Swargard, Mortensen, Edvin Helland, Blindo75, Christopher Hassel, Ravi Abbott, Chris Folds Dreamcatcher, Lauren Giroux, Graham W. Vebke, Lane Denson, Adam Battersby, O'Brien's Retro and Vintage, Gary Hucker, C. Brian Jones, Paul Bossman Harrington, Duncan Stiles, Tapes from the Crypt, Josh Nan, Adam Bradley, Jonas Rouleau, THT, Eric, Nelson, Kim, Tommy, Humbert, Shaw, Daniel, Bingston, Brutal Barracuda, Darren Coles, Jason Warnes, Pixels at Dawn, and Kjolbjorn Barman.
Sort of seems like you just sort of sang the that one part over and over.
Well, here's the thing about songs by the band that I sang.
I knew you were going to...
That's what they are, because they suck.
Oh, man.
They're
Listen,
no good.
I don't think there's no reason to take your poor performance out on them.
Yeah, I will take all of my poor performances out on them.
Was that a winning guess we just got in?
Probably so.
That was quick. Someone knew. Good luck.
All right, guys. Next week, we are going to take a look at Shooter Week on the Amigos.
Pang wasn't a shooter?
No, Pang was an arcade port.
Okay. Okay, fine. Great shooter. What do you got?
Project X.
Oh, Bo, you're going to love that. It's chock full of your favorite kind of toots.
Isn't there? There's a lot of like... there's a lot of like X stuff. Like, what is the X-Pac?
Yeah,
that wrestler?
That's true.
And then wasn't there another X guy in
There's
wrestling?
a guy just called X.
There's a guy.
There's Dr. X.
What about the guy that does like the X motions
That's
on his
X-Pac.
lower?
That's
Was
X-Pac. Yeah.
Did he invent that?
Yeah, I think so. Sort of. But really, do you want to claim that? I'm sure people made obscene gestures before he came around.
That's
and
true.
Everyone knows this, Bo. I'm going to school you, sir. If you put an X at the end of something, that instantly gives you cool cred right there. X. And Project X is a game I've actually played before, so I'm looking for. I can't believe how we can't ever covered that.
I know.
That is baffling to me.
I've never heard of it, so I'll check it out. I'll let you know.
All right, Project X. Yes.
We do record Amigos live every Friday at 5:30 Eastern.
Not the hint of editing. just ramble on no matter what.
That's right.
And ship it.
And we'd love it if you could join us live on the YouTubes. What?
On the YouTubes?
Yeah, that's what they are.
That's who says that?
Me.
Okay.
You can join the illustrious crowd.
And we got a good crew in here today.
Pixels at Dawn is here modding it down.
Yeah.
Edvin Helland, he's relaxing in his man cave with his nitro-fueled brewski. Mm-hmm. Duncan Styles is here. Wishbone is here. That's his song.
Wishbone does not like Google.
No. Tragard 1982 is with us. Michael Ryan, coding from his home in sunny California, UK Retro Gamer, Samwise, and Necronom, Paul Bossman Harrington, Picard 2005. Thank you guys, Steve Rasmussen. Thank you guys so much. I said that already.
Michael Ryan's in here. Terry.
Terry's not here.
I just saw her name go by.
No.
Terry. What do you think? I'm just seeing things?
Yes. Terry's not here?
He was. I swear, right there. Terry Howard.
No, I thought you were talking about Terry Williams.
You did not. He can't use a computer.
Oh, okay. Well, guys, we will see you next week. Until then, keep playing the Amiga. We'll see you next Friday. Adios.
That didn't work.
I liked it. All right, I'm going to go hit the head.
What?
And then I got to refill my Kraken.
My God. You're a Kraken hoe.
Here, why don't you give yourself a little bit of this? You'll need it for our Sinclair.
I've got it.
You need yourself a mint julep for this shit.
Yeah, I know a little something about the old Sinclair. Edwin, I would love to. I would love to go. However, I have a young son here, and I'm going to be sort of hanging around here until he gets a little older. And then maybe I will. I would love to go. I would love to go to Ireland or Norway. God, I love it. I never in my wildest dreams that I'd go anywhere. To be honest with you, but one thing that's nice. When Boat went to Ireland, I would say it opened my eyes, and it's just the logistics of it's a little bit tough for me. But now anyone can come here and visit. That would be great. We would love that. Of course, we don't have a festival like we do in Norway, but be kind of fun. Yeah, this is Boat has given me. This is the Kraken. Release the Kraken. It's pretty good. I don't know if you guys have had that. It's not wine. Boat, what would you call what I'm drinking here?
Hey, come here for a second.
Come in there. Okay, excuse me, guys. I gotta have a look at something real quick. I'll be back in 2 shakes. Take 5. Everyone, bathroom break. Go. Did I do something wrong? Yeah. Okay, get it. He looks just like Lionheart. That guy, he's keeping his eye on you, Bo. Maybe that's why you didn't like Lionheart, because he's been watching.
That's true. Well, he watches me in my most.
He watches you while you pee.
Yeah.
Your most intimate moments are in there.
Well,
You don't need to go to a therapist for me to tell you what's going on here.
I don't like to brag, but
you should not. All right. Sorry, Boat needed me to go to the bathroom with him.
you have to understand that on the inside of the bathroom door, it looks like Aslan.
I can't believe that's why you called me in there, to look at the backside of your... His bathroom door has wood grain, and it looks like the dude from Lionheart, so it looks like.
Aslan. The dude from Lionheart looks like Paula Abdul.
No. You're so jealous of that game.
What does that mean?
When is Lionheart going to get into your platform thing?
Oh, it's coming.
Okay,
it's coming.
I may have to record a rebuttal, just like in a magazine. Oh, when can we mention a magazine thing?
Oh man,
I didn't think we were allowed to mention
No,
it.
it's not ready yet.
Okay, yeah, but that's coming.
Yeah. We'll plug the heck out of that.
Can we tell the guys that aren't? Can we tell these guys?
Sure, tell them.
Hey, there's a new there's a new magazine coming, the Amigos magazine. What's that?
Well, it's not the new. I mean, a
Right,
Kickstart
but
is
Kickstart
relaunching.
is coming back. The
Yeah.
magazine.
Yeah, Neil has been working hard on a new issue of Kickstart. You guys heard it here first.
It looks great.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great. I even like the little program. I thought it was great.
I thought the whole thing was awesome. I love the whatever kind of program he's using to flip the pages and stuff.
You know, I hope everything's going well for him.
Me too.
You know,
I heard he had to sell his arcade cab.
I know, and I've been there, and
yeah,
it's the worst.
we've all been
And
there.
Neil, he's such a nice guy.
Yeah.
Remember how apologetic he's been to us? He's such a good guy. So
Yeah.
get ready to see some cool new action from Kickstart. Great magazine. I've still got all my issues. I PDF. That's another one I printed out one time. It's the only thing I've ever written for.
You've never written for any other magazine?
Well, I got some stuff I did in high school was in a poetry magazine.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
But you need to bring that in. That's an insert disc 2 right now.
That's not that's an insert disc 9. That's a format disc.
Hold on, we're going to switch.
Hey,
Hold on. Okay, you got audio.
can I talk?
Yeah, well, I mean, you might not have been able to be
Hey,
heard.
Wishbone, where are you at in the world? Are you willing to say? By the way, what am I drinking here? What is this? Is this?
That's man. Did you literally pour that much Kraken in your?
Yeah, but what is it made of?
That's 100 proof.
No, but what is it?
It's rum.
rum. It's rum, guys. They were asking. What it
Okay,
was.
well, you need to hang out here after a
Texas.
while. After you.
I'll sip
Did you
it.
mix some Mountain Dew in there?
No, I haven't. I just poured some.
Oh
I was pouring when you called me in there. I maybe poured a little bit too. But you can have some of mine. I'll pour it in.
No. We just Austin. Keep it weird, man.
I got friends down in Houston.
Pat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've only met him once. So
he a good guy.
I don't know about him.
Talked to him last night. Now
Is
listen.
he on COH? Is he
Oh,
playing
yeah,
it?
big time.
His son's on there too.
Yeah, both of them.
What about Dale's kids? Why aren't they on there?
They're pretty young.
Hmm.
So I mean, they're a little bit young. So get this. I took this. You know, how often are we going to go by this again? So I did some research on the actual track. I got some track action,
okay.
some traction, if you will. And this is an interesting track. I got some good stuff here. So I think you'll be pleased. Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Come on, man. Brighten up on a chocolate cloud, Wishbone.
That's right. Brighten up on your chocolate cloud. Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Sinclair. I'm just going to do that whole thing again.
Why
I
would you-
noticed
what-
as soon as I hit record, somebody dropped out of the chat room, and that just brought me down. We went from 23 to 22.
By the way, why did you? I mean, good Lord, were you struck dumb all of a sudden? Come on, get the energy up.
I know. Well, like I said,
I've been at the dump all day and I'm ready to go. I want
Okay.
to get some energy. But not as much as last time.
Okay.
You spiked every possible speaker with your incredible
no,
freak out.
I'll mix it down in post.
You did a Paul Stanley. We love your town.
Hey, everybody! Listen! I actually hit record there. I didn't mean to.
No. By the way, you sounded like.
I sounded like Paul Stanley.
No, you sound like. What's the talking poo in South Park? That's it.
Mr. Hanky?
That's what you sound like. Howdy ho!
Man, I wonder who did the voice of Mr. Hanky.
I don't know.
And I wonder
I'm
what
sure.
he's doing
Something
now.
tells me they're the same guys that did the voice for everyone
That's
else.
true.
Those two idiots.
Trey Parker.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Sinclair. I'm John.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're going to the track. We're
Yes.
going to play some Grand National.
Get out your wad boat. It's time
Now,
to lay down the dough.
It's unfortunate that we don't live really close to any horse racing track here in West by God, Virginia, in our particular home.
Oh, that's incorrect.
Ooh, feel free to enlighten me.
You don't have to live near a track if you've got simulcast.
What does that mean?
I used to work at a dog track, y'all, and for a couple years, I was printing racing forms. And at the track, they show all the races from all over the world. Australia Downs, Pimlico, everywhere. Everywhere there's a racetrack, you get racing. Now, we didn't get anything. We didn't get it to Grand National because they didn't do any of that sort of racing. This is just straight up horse and dog racing. Charleston has a track, not Charleston, West Virginia, but Charlestown.
Charlestown, yeah.
And there are tracks all over. So if you want to get your horse on, you can, or your dog, you can go and do this. Now,
That sounds explicit.
well, it is what it is. Now, I also have been to the dog kennels. You know?
Okay, you mean like the pound?
No, the dog kennels at the track. They keep the dog. The dogs like hang out there when they're not racing.
Really? They don't go home?
Oh, sometimes they do. These kennels are hideous. I
Yeah.
pity a dog that lives in these kennels. They are. I've also been told that the dogs are. There could be some shenanigans with water. You water these dogs up to make them slower.
Right.
Now horses, I don't know. Don't know how
Well,
that
something
goes.
tells me that the way that they treat dogs at a dog track is not the same as the way they treat horses. I think that there are many
I would hope
more.
not.
You know, there's a lot more money involved in thoroughbred racing. The dog track is. Yeah, you never hear good things about greyhound racing.
You know, I watched a race one time from Australian Downs. I kid you not, Boat. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. They ran horses down there in the snow. I didn't know they got snow in Australia.
Weird.
Did you know that?
I didn't know that either. I thought it was hot all the time.
It was,
Desert environment.
It snowed. One thing I've learned about racing, nothing will stop a race. It has to be a monumental thing. One thing that would stop it, dog racing anyway, was kennel cough. Was something that was very
like whooping
horrible,
cough,
and it would hose all the dogs till they couldn't run.
Right.
You know, and so what would happen is we had an area in our little track where people would come and they would go to what was called mutuals, and they would go in there and
Like mutual Vohon?
they get their exactly. It was a wild kingdom if you saw the people that were coming in there, and they get their racing form. Now most of the people that watched racing that I saw were old people because really horse racing as a pastime seems to be sort of a dying art.
What's like a good cockfight? You're not going to get your young people, gathered around. You're going to get your old salts.
Now, maybe you're onto something. Now, have you ever been to a horse race or a racing track?
I have never been to. Well, yes, I've been to Churchill Downs before.
Okay.
But I've never been while there were races going on.
I see. Now, of course, I work in Kentucky and lived there for a while, so we lived near Churchill Downs, and we lived.
Well, sort of.
Keeneland.
Keeneland
is also
more close,
there.
yeah.
Well, no, I mean I live near Churchill Downs. I mean, how many people can, let's say, I live within an hour and a half of Churchill Downs? Not that many.
Well, I mean, we live within 3 hours.
Well, I'm just saying. And so I have not been to the Kentucky Derby, but we used to watch it every year. In Kentucky, horse racing. They told me when I moved there, they said, listen, as I was walking into the building my first day, the guy's like, hey, do you like bourbon? I said, no. I do now, but I didn't then. He said, do you like horse racing? I said, no. He goes, do you like college basketball? I said, no. He goes, you're in big trouble. And he was right. Those are what they do in Kentucky. But the horse racing for hundreds of years, maybe 1,000 years, has been a very popular sport that's probably on the wane, I would say, at least in this country.
I think that in this country, at least, there are significant risks to the horses. And if you know anything about horse racing, you know that if horses get injured, they don't go through rehab. They get a bullet to the brain. And
right to the glue factory, yo.
And lots of people have a problem with that.
Well, we live in a different era where that is a more prominent concern.
I would call it an era where we care about animals more than we used to.
That's more prominent.
Yeah,
I would agree with you on that. And we don't want no animals to get hurt.
No. But there is something beautiful about horse racing. I don't know enough about dog racing to say positive or negative things about it.
It's less beautiful. I can tell you that.
But there is something sort of majestic about the whole Triple Crown, the Belmont, the Kentucky Derby, and the Preakness. Every year it gets press here in the United States. When you have a Triple Crown winner, it's always a big deal.
Very rare.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah.
And so this week's game, I approached it with through the eyes of someone that, my dad's from Louisville. He grew up going to the Derby in the infield.
Watch where the party goes down.
Right.
Party hardy down
and
there.
so I really was looking forward to playing this game. And so, do you want to talk about it?
Well, I want to talk about the first thing I noticed about this game. Well, two things. One, that it was officially endorsed by the Aintree Racecourse, and so I was like, man, I got to look into this racecourse because we're not, at least none of the tracks I covered did a steeplechase style racing. All right, and the Grand National is, I guess, it's just sort of like the biggest race of this type of racing, right? And Aintree is the legendary place where it happens. Now, I didn't know anything about Aintree. Have you ever even heard of this race course,
No.
Boat? And you were there. It's It's in Merseyside, England. You ever heard of that?
Yeah, that's where the ferry goes.
Okay,
you
fair
ferry
enough.
across the Mersey.
So, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you making that up or are you serious? I can't tell half the time.
It's the land, the place I love.
Okay,
There I'll
you're
stay.
full of crap. Opened in July of 1829, boat.
Boy, it's got a pedigree.
No kidding, eh? It says here, this is Aintree Racecourse is in a metropolitan borough of Sefton, Merseyside, England. I've never heard of any of those places. So you'd think you hear about.
Well, you hear about you've heard of Mercy Beat, right?
I don't know anything about
that. Was one of the early pop magazines back when the Beatles were around. The Mercy Beat.
Oh my gosh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
No. So, like I mentioned, this track is the home of the Grand National Steeplechase. Now, I'm not real familiar with steeplechase. It's not something that gets ran a lot here. And trust me, when I started playing this game, I was astounded when a hedgerow came up on the track. I was like,
this is a big difference between the tracks that are run on the Triple Crown tracks are oval tracks with no steeplechase. There's this is a different sort of sport for sure.
So get this. The Aintree Racecourse is regarded as the most difficult of all courses to complete successfully. It has 16 steeplechase fences, and the obstacles on it are so famous that they're named. Like they got their own names. These things. So it just that's bad.
Yeah.
All the fences, bar the water jump, are covered with spruce. So you've got that's the greenery you see on these things. So that the water jumps are just water. So not only have they had the Grand National race there, they also have other stuff at this thing. Get this. And who'd have thunk this? I'd have never thought this. They've had the British Grand Prix at Aintree 5 times.
Wow.
Must be hard for those cars to get over the hedge.
Yeah.
Also, now get this. They also have a 9-hole golf course there, and it had its own railway station until 1962. That's kind of cool. And it had a Michael Jackson concert. So pretty
it's
good.
had it all.
Pretty good.
If I could host all of those events in Amigo Studios, I'd feel like I'd done my job.
Now here's something else I like. Now this track is this separates the men from the boys big time, and the women from the girls. This, as I mentioned, this thing's long. It's 4 miles long. Okay, and this game you could feel
You can feel it coming back again.
Right, and this is. It often will have. It says here they usually start out with 40 horses on this track.
Wow!
I knew you'd love that. And
now, did you talk about Beecher's Brook already?
No, I haven't talked about that.
Okay, so Retro Man Cave says that the killer fence on this course, like you said, all the fences have different names.
That's mentioned right here.
Yeah, Beecher's Brook is the killer fence.
It says here that sometimes they'll have. Like, for example, they mentioned here in the article I read, 42 horses started this track in 1928. Only 2 got to the finish line.
It's like one of the old Le Mans races,
so,
It's
after your heartfelt ode to horse love, this is like the track that you would never let your horse ride.
Right.
These horses are
after
fun.
you spent $3 million raising your thoroughbred.
Now, you had one horse come on this track that is like the king of this track. We've got Man of War, Secretariat. These are the legendary horses of of not our day, but
of the day.
And on the Grand National, the legendary horse is Red Rum. Now let me do the thing.
Is that like the Stephen King reference?
I don't know, but he won the race 3 times in the 70s, and also came in second twice. So this horse must have been a jumping, swimming, speed down sucker.
He does it all. I'm pretty sure there's a biathlon element where the horse has to shoot a target at some point. There's so many things going on.
I'm not going to lie to you. Just like I always do, I sat down and watched some of this track, some races on YouTube, right? I could get into this.
Yeah.
But the problem I have, it's a lot like American football. I love seeing some crazy action, but I don't want anyone to get actually hurt.
Yeah.
And these horses, they look like they're having a rough go of it.
It really is the problem.
Did you watch any of these?
Yeah. I'm with you 100%.
It's not like darts or anything.
You start to feel for the horses in.
You do. And the jockeys.
Yeah.
Those jockeys are getting mauled.
They're getting pounded on.
And one thing about this, unlike, say, NASCAR or something, you can be guaranteed multiple smash ups on this. There's people ramming each other. It's crazy time.
Yeah, and again, just like snooker, just like darts, the best highlights to watch were from the 70s. Yeah,
I told you missed out. To be honest with you,
I did.
There was a lot going on in the 70s. People were just chilled out. Horses getting killed in piles.
Doesn't matter.
They're cool as
They're
ice.
cool with it.
Red
Yep.
rum, baby. So, with a race like that and a pedigree like that, you've got to make a game for the Spectrum.
Yeah.
And so you got to crank up Grand National. Now, I made a note of this just because I thought it was pertinent. This game was authored by a fellow named Andy Williams, and his partner in crime was Paul Holmes. And I wrote down and it was published by Elite. So I had to write down this was their next release directly after the Dukes of Hazzard had been released.
Wow!
So you went from jumping cars over water to jumping horses over water. And we haven't played Dukes of Hazzard, but I'm hoping you tap the O and
I loved it. The O and the P.
and you hit the button and just,
Yeah.
can you imagine that? And it's a button for the horn. Of course.
Yep.
So Andy Williams, not the famous musician here,
No,
but
not the singer.
This is the famous
Star of
this is the
Stage and
famous
Screen.
programmer. He did. He's got an interesting like a lineage here. He did Bomb Jack 1 and 2. I didn't know there was a Bomb Jack 2. Did you know that? Maybe that's a home only.
Well, they did release Mighty Bomb Jack
Maybe
for
that's
the consoles.
it. Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Yeah.
Now get this. Oh, but we got to do this one. We've mentioned before. He did Fall Guy. It's got to be from the show.
I don't know.
I'm not the kind to kiss and tell, but I've been seen with Farrah. You don't remember that song?
Is that Farrah Fawcett?
Yeah, it was. The show stars Lee Majors. He'd just been married to Farrah Fawcett. He sang the song.
Really?
Awesome. Also, he did Frank Bruno's boxing.
Oh.
If you're a boxing
Yeah.
fan, Frank Bruno's just. I know we've mentioned him on the show because his name comes
Well,
up.
I mean, he's the Ollie of Britain.
No, he's not.
Yeah, he
No,
is.
No, he's not.
Who's the Ollie of Britain?
Well, they've got a lot of good boxers
No,
in Britain.
it's Frank Bruno.
I think that's a little much. He also did a game called Coca-Tony Wolf. Well, we remember that one.
Yeah, we played that one.
Yeah, that was like wacky. Listen, with a name like Coca-Tony Wolf, you can't forget that one. Paul Holmes did Bomb Jack 1 and 2 as well. He did a game called Dust Man. Sounds intriguing.
That's I think that he goes around and he empties dustbins.
I think he
for fun
visits
and
my
profit.
house all the time. He also worked on Frank Bruno, and he did apparently he did Tapper, Wild West Hero, Robotron 2084. So he's done some more like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, this is officially licensed from the Aintree Racecourse. They're not going to let anybody release a game unless you have to go out and pay for that license. And I wonder how many of these. I bet this was a series that's ran forever because I mean the concept of it's pretty sound. You had one player. As far as I could tell, this only came out on the Amiga. Yes, there's an Amiga port of this boat.
Wow.
I know.
AGSC, listen up.
How do we miss that? And it also came out on the iPhone. Apparently, they spruced it up for the phone. Original sales price of this bad boy, £6.95. And the budget price, you were right there at the £2
£1.99.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Exactly. So, boat. I've been droning on for a while. Why don't you talk about this game and your first impressions?
Okay, so this game is basically two games in one.
Yes.
It is a horse betting game where you can strictly play just betting the races, or you can play the action component of the game where you race the horse on the course yourself, or you can do both.
Yeah.
So when you load the game, you're immediately greeted with a screen in which if you want to bet on horses, you can. And basically after reading the docs, the game tried to simulate everything that would happen when you are betting. It's like you're preparing young gamers for a future career in betting the horses.
You know, it's funny you should mention that, just not to interrupt you, but I've got the docs right here because I wanted to bring this up. If you look at the documentation, because I had to look at it just to see how to control this thing. It lists all the stuff you can do betting wise, and it's like 1,000 things. Like they've covered every conceivable betting base.
What they have done is they've simplified the odds somewhat. So if you're ever at a real track and you want to bet the horses, then you'll have odds like 50 to 12 or something like that, and it's hard to understand. In this game, they've simplified all the odds. It's always a number to 1. So you know if this horse wins, you're going to get this multiplier to 1.
Yeah.
what they do is in order to make it more realistic, they do deduct a 10% buyer's premium, which is sort of the rake that the bookie gets, or the track gets.
The house always wins.
The house always wins. And you have, not only do you have the odds, but you also have the form of the horse. And the form is basically from 1 to 10, how good the horse has performed recently. Now, if you look into the docs, this is outside of the game, but if you look into the docs, you can actually see how well the horses perform on various tracks. So just like there are certain tennis players that play better on clay, there are certain horses that perform better on less than ideal track conditions.
Yeah, your mudders.
Yeah,
They're the ones that do the mud.
You can look that up, and you can bet accordingly.
My God, that just occurred to me. Can you imagine running this course in the mud?
No. 5 miles in the mud with all these fences and stuff.
You gotta say it motor style. In the mud.
You're talking about an Elmer's factory going on there.
Horrible, but hilarious.
So anyway, once you've placed your bets, if you choose to place, and basically you start out, I think, with 1,000 pounds.
That's right.
And you can choose to bet any number on up to 5 horses. You can bet on up to 5 horses. You can hit S, and that starts the game. Oh, you also have to choose the horse that you want to race. So you sort of have a stable of horses that are on your team that you can choose from. You can't choose any horse in the race, but you can choose. You get a pretty good choice. So I always chose the horse that had the best odds to win for me to race with.
You could just bet on somebody else and then tank.
Right. You could always play the fade, as it were. So once the race starts, you have a screen full of information. One of the things that the Specky I've found really excels at is that the games tend to give you all the information you need and make full use of the total display. So you don't have HUDs that take up a lot of useless space. In this game, in the upper left-hand corner, you have the overall overhead map of the track, okay?
Yeah.
To the right of that, you have a side-on view of your horse, okay? And this is useful when you're doing jumping.
Yeah,
you can see how close you are coming up to the hedges, because you're going to want to jump over these hedges.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the majority of the screen, I'd say 2/3 of the screen, is filled with an overhead view of the track, which you can see your horse and your position relative to the other horses on the track, as well as any upcoming obstacles. The course is also lined with various types of greenery that you can admire as it passes you by. On the lower third of the screen, you have the total time, you have the number of horses in the race, and your position relative to the other horses. So it's just like any racing game is the same sort of thing. On the sides of the screen, I'd say if you would divide the screen into eighths, the eighth of the screen on the left.
Wow, you're right. I'm just saying that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, the eighth of the screen is your speed, and the eighth of the screen on the right is your energy. If you delve into the documentation that's included with this game, you can see what horses do well sort of long-term when you want to conserve your energy to the end, versus horses that need to have an early burst of speed and then sort of coast to the end. So this game is rather deep in that, and you control the speed of the horse by whipping the horse. This is one of
Non-stop.
I was going to say this is one of the things about horse racing that tends to make people a little uncomfortable, is that whenever you want the horse to go faster, you literally beat the horse to go faster.
It's effective though.
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm saying it's part of the game.
Yeah.
Your horse's energy goes down as your speed increases, depending on how hard you've pushed the horse. So it's a balancing act. You don't want to run out of energy. If you run out of energy, you will run out of speed. But you don't want to conserve your energy too much, because then the other horses will just pass you by like you're standing still. So your job is to get around this track for however many laps you have to go around, and this is a very, very long race. As Americans, we're used to rather short horse races. The Triple Crown. The Triple Crown is only one lap. Each race is only one lap.
Oh yeah, they never do multiple laps.
And so that was surprising to me. You frequently have races that are over 5 minutes easily. And so anyway, The thing that makes this game maddeningly infuriating is that whenever you leap and you fail leaping over one of the hedges, your game is over.
You're boned.
It's all over.
Yeah.
And so what I chose to do after failing repeatedly was just betting on the horses. I just bet on the ponies, and I tried to collect money that way.
I think this game gets a lot of stuff right. I love the screen set up when you actually race.
I mean, it's I couldn't set it up any better.
And the fact that they've got the side on one of your horse, not only because when you, from the top down view, you don't get the obstacles don't have any gravity. You just see a long thing.
Mm-hmm.
From the side, you notice that they're different shapes. They're water. The hedges have a different makeup. You know, the walls, and you have to time it differently. I mean, it tells you if other horses have fell out, so you know how many people you got left. It tells you your position. Like I said, it's got time. They've got the information down. It's got an overhead view of where you're out on the track. All good, all good. So they've got that right, but they have some things, and maybe this is just because we're not used to this. This was like if you ever played David Crane's Decathlon on the 2600. If you get into one of the actual decathlon races and you're waggling that joystick, you're begging to die.
Yeah,
because,
you're just waiting
so,
for the end.
I started this game up initially, of course, I never read the docs, and I couldn't move my horse. So when I figured out how to actually make him gallop and jump and stuff, I thought, my God, what do I have to do to make this race end? It just went on forever. Yeah. And that's too long. And by the time I ran my first race, I actually got around the track, believe it or not, without wrecking.
Wow.
It's not super difficult to jump to stuff.
You did better than I did.
But I begged to die because it was so long. And there were a few times where I literally just stopped racing, picked my hands up, and just went
shook
like
it out.
this.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm dying here. It's not realistic to whip your horse perpetually. In fact, a few years ago, I watched the progress of a horse. I can't remember. It had sugar in its name. It had never felt the whip in competition ever.
Wow!
And I remember the first time they whipped it was like one of the Triple Crown.
Mm-hmm.
They finally whipped it, ended up losing. It had never felt the whip, so that you never would whip a horse as much as you do in this game, where you're just beating it.
I mean, it's just that's the only way to make it go.
You're beating the tar. Of course, this is not real. No one would do that in real life. Would be because the horse would just stop responding.
Right.
It wouldn't be like it'd probably
turn around and kill you.
That'd be awesome. That'd be kind of funny. There is a magic equation between your energy output and your speed. I don't know what that equation is. Basically, my horse was a lot like me. I did feel for the horse because I was so tired that I never really ran through all my energy because I couldn't sustain hitting the over.
I had a hard time running out of energy, to be honest with you. Maybe it's because I died so early.
Did you ever complete a race?
No, I always fell to the hedge.
Trust me when I tell you, you will get low on energy, especially if you're like if Brent was playing this, for example, Mr. Track and Field, he'd probably kill that horse. He'd be running so hard. But me, I tried to keep it fairly steady. Jumping, I will say, Boat nailed it when it comes to jumping those hedges. You could be going along at a good clip, and you're watching yourself move with the leaderboard, and if you just mistime that jump, race over, you suck, and then you're out. So it's not mega hard to time them, but plenty of times I would just be a fraction of a second off and screw up in the beginning of the race.
Now, this game is designed for you to run this race multiple years. Each race is a new year. So when you finish, you collect your winnings, and then you move on to the next year. This whole race revolves. It would be like, for us, it would be like Kentucky Derby, the game. They only run the Derby once a year. So they are depending on you running this race multiple times and building a legacy.
Yeah. And here, I'll get to my last major complaint. You can move your horse left and right. You gallop, you whip him, and you also can jump. Your controls. This game is very slow. It is very slow. You could rocket ship that. You could be hauling tail on that horse, but he's just creeping along. And we all know why. Because it's a limitation of the hardware.
Yeah.
And the thing, it's not like there's nothing going on. They got crap going on all over the place here. But he does meander along, and that doesn't help you in terms of your ability to hit that button over and over. I did not do what you did. I would always bet and I would always race. When I played it, just because I figured I might as well try both. I don't know how well you did at betting.
I never won.
I very rarely won.
It's sort of like real life.
Yeah. And now, if you're a true bettor, you look at the history of the horse. Like you said, you look at the conditions it runs best in and whatnot. And so I'm guessing that if you really were an astute player, but of course you would have many races to compare a horse to. And on top of that, though, we are talking about American style or non-steeplechase horse racing where they just go around a loop. It would be hard to handicap horses on this track.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
you would never know.
The long shots could win a lot.
Yeah.
And I bet if we looked at the history of this particular race, I bet a lot of long shots have won because really, unless you're Red Rum. Like, who the heck is going to bet?
Well, you've got to have odds. You've got to have some horses.
I understand, but the odds could mean less. I watch a lot of MMA. UFC odds are usually quite accurate. But if you're watching like Uncle Jim's MMA Jamboree held out the barn, and you've got like Billy Bob taking on Goof McGee, and these guys have had like 3 fights locally, and you try to put odds on them, they're going to be goofy odds.
Right.
It's the same thing. You've got the fact that you would race a horse in this more than once. It shows me a certain disdain for the horse.
Yeah.
Because it is crazy. Now, but I will say this game has a lot going for it. And in terms of a race simulator, from my understanding, Boat, this was the first one on the Specky anyway. Maybe I don't know about a whole lot of these. I know Japan has a lot of these, so maybe they did something. But this was quite an achievement when it came out. Because of what it allowed you to do. And I will say, it reminds me sort of like having, say, like a really good fruit machine, or a slot machine, where you could it'd be fun to play, or even playing like poker. So if you're a gambling type, and this is your poison.
Well, it really, it covered all the bases, because if you just wanted to play it as a gambling simulator, you could.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted the action part was there as well.
Now, here's what we can't comment on. We can't comment on how the algorithms for the gambling did. I did not. I guess if I played this a lot, I could get it, but I couldn't. There's no way I could figure it out without actually playing it a lot to see if they were accurate. So I'm not going to sit here and say much about the actual abilities of this thing to handicap races and make it fun.
Yeah.
Or your ability to glean what you need to know off of this would be difficult.
It's not like reading a race report. Like if you go to the track and you buy one of the papers that gives you the report on each of the horses, they go into the background, they go into where it was raised, where it was trained, who the trainer is, what kind of success. You don't get any of that stuff in this game, so it does leave something on the table there, and I'm sure that future horse racing simulation games would cover that. But as it is, when did this come out? 83?
85.
Yeah. I think that this is pretty good.
Again, I just think that, and I'll tell you something else I would like to see would be multiple tracks or shorter tracks or something like that.
Yeah, I'd love to see just a one lap. I guess this something you could compete under a minute.
This game is made and undermined by its license, basically. Yeah. If you needed something smaller to run in, I did look up some reviews on this Boatster, and what you've got here is the World of Spectrum, my go-to site, gave this a very good score, 7.96. Now, Tilt magazine, I love them. I like their French. 83%. Now get this, 83% out of 100. Sometimes it's a little weird with some of these magazines. Yeah. Sinclair User gave this an 80%, and when they reviewed it, and your Spectrum gave it 73%, and Crash gave it a 79%. I think I'm in that same area there. It's got good graphics. It's functional. It's been cleverly designed. The implementation is very good. It's just slow and plodding and long.
Yeah.
And that's the downfall.
Right. We did get a couple Discord reviews on this. Graham Vedke says, I am hard-pressed to think of another decent horse racing game from the 8-bit era. This game is very niche, but riding a horse in this well-known horse race is quite charming. The gameplay overall makes it quite difficult to win, unless I'm just a shocking jock unless I'm just a shocking jockey. And it does run a little slow and have castanet type sounds. I actually thought the sounds were
And
were
it has
okay.
music that's not, it's not totally Spectrum-like music.
It goes through all your sort of famous horse racing type tunes.
Yes, it
you know,
does.
the William Tell overtures there. And Chris Fold says, I've loved this game since I played it as a child. It's slow, a little unfair at times, but always draws me back. Plus, it reminds me of my gran who loved the horse racing. 8 out of 10.
You know, when there used to be just right down the street from you, Boat. There was a grocery store.
It's called a CIS.
Well, before it was called Foodland. Foodland.
Really?
Yeah.
Even before it was Culloden Independent Supermarket.
Yeah. Oh yeah, way before that. And the Foodlands were all over this area.
Now it's a food fair.
And Foodland would give you these little cards when you went there.
I like little cards.
And every night on, I think it was WSAZ, the local station, they would play a horse race, a half hour of horse races, and you'd have your little cards. And if your horse came in, you would get a goodie.
What happened to that?
That was when I was a young lad. Now, the funny thing is, I always heard that these horse races were taped all over the world. So all of this was a scam.
It was all a sham, yeah.
You know, they knew which tickets were going to be to cash in, but still, the fact that in my lifetime, I could go down to the store that's less than a mile from here and go in and get a tiny little Foodland racing form, and then go home. I used to watch them all the time when I was a kid. For the couple years they did it, and we'd watch the horses.
Did A to Z do that too?
A to Z never did it. That was a Foodland thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
So there you go. That's my horse racing story. And by the way, you mentioned going down and getting your little program at the racetrack. We used to print those in the print shop. I used to use an old school printer, real handle job, and then they got computerized ones, and that was the end of that job.
Yeah.
So another of my litany of jobs I shut down.
You know, tell me about how you got that job over there at the track.
I applied. It was quite simple. I needed a job, and
was this after Lexington?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So I worked at the track.
So this was after Lexington, but before you started working for the boss man.
There's a hilarious story beside that. I'll tell you. I can't tell it on the air, though. Unfortunately, it's a lot blue.
All right. Well, we want to thank all the fine folks that are hanging us out to dry. Right.
Thanks, guys.
In the chat, we got Pixels at Dawn, Wishbone, Terror K, Lob, Terminator X, Treyguard 1982, Picard 2005. We got a lot of year names.
I like when Terror came in. Everyone was going, "Hi, Terror." And just I don't know what struck me as funny about that.
Terror. He's been commenting on the Amiga platformers posts, and he is a wealth of knowledge. We're glad to have Terror K around.
What's a K stand for, Boat?
Killer. He's a terror killer. He kills terror. He's a good guy.
Oh, okay.
He's a face.
Okay. Fair enough. Why did I teach you wrestling lingo? I'm going to regret that till the day I die.
All right, and we also want to thank our awesome supporters that support the show on Patreon. Laurent Giroux, Gary, Heather, Eric Nelson, Harbonaut, Graham, Vebke, Frodo NL, Tapes from the Crypt, Pixels at Dawn, Chris Folds, Paul, Bossman Harrington, and Christopher Hassel. Thank you guys so much for supporting it. And if you like our Sinclair and you want to support the show, patreon.com/our Sinclair. Aaron, next week, we're going to play Paperboy.
Oh, boy. Before we close up, I got to tell you, and I've fallen in love with the Sinclair. And when I knew we were doing a horse racing, I was so excited because I hear about all these horse racing, but I never get to play any of them. I hear they're mostly in Japan and Japanese. And this, it wasn't the best game ever, no, but I thought it was great. And so every week there's something, it's a totally wacky. So now Paperboy. Now I don't know about you, but I used to play this in the arcade. And I really was a big fan of this game, so I can't wait to see what they've managed.
Well, I used to play it on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
Not as cool.
They call it the definitive version.
Listen, no.
Playing with that little D-pad, it can't compare with the handlebars. That's
next week, I will tell you how I almost purchased a Paperboy arcade machine.
Oh, can't wait.
It's an interesting tale.
All right, guys, hope you tune in then. Until then, keep playing the Sinclair. Until then, rewind tape.
And press play. Bo, you suck.
I gotta say until then about 16 more times.
Until then, do this, and until then, do that. This guy's a hack.
Well, I've also had half a bottle of Kraken.
No kidding. You released the Kraken big time. You need to put the Kraken back in.
No. All right, you ready for our Atari 1200 XL stream?
No, I've got to go home.
No, you've got to pound the rest of that and spend the rest of the night here.
Oh, God. Yeah, you're right. I did pour too much. That was a mistake. Hey, guys. Thanks for joining us in the chat room. All right. That was a good group today, wasn't it?
It was a good group.
I like seeing people that I'm not usually familiar with, like a Wishbone. I don't think he's been here too many times.
Well, Pixels had to bring
Terry
down the
K.
ban hammer on Wishbone.
Why?
Because Wishbone was being a jerk.
Was he?
Yeah.
What'd he do?
We don't like jerks
He hates
here.
Google.
Yeah, he does.
You mean, wait a minute. Pixels knocked the sucker out of the chat room?
If Pixels has to take action, it was serious.
That must be bad.
Yeah.
I noticed he was working a little off the beaten
Yeah, he
path.
was. Yeah, he
Listen,
was.
I've been a little rabble rouser in my time.
Listen, Terry K was terrible at Paperboy.
What?
He always wanted to smash the windows.
Before we close up, and I know I should say this last week, how many people in the chat room have ever been a Paperboy?
I don't think they have those in other countries. I think that's an American thing.
That is not true.
They don't have newspapers in other countries.
They've never had newspapers?
No. I mean, they don't read. They don't know how to speak English. Not like we do.
Listen.
Not the real
ignore
way.
him. Right there, Edvin right out the gate says he's done it.
Really?
And here's double points if anyone was a Paperboy that delivered grit.
Like grits? Like you get at Cracker
No,
Barrel?
and when I used to read comic books, there were nothing but ads for this grit magazine. It was a paper, and you could deliver grit, make big money.
Is this like one of the things in Boy's Life where you can make a hovercraft out of a vacuum
It wasn't.
cleaner?
They actually did do Boy's Life. Yeah. You know, I used to know a girl who delivered the Charleston Gazette out of her car. She was
Out of her car, yeah, that's a different thing. It's not like you're on a bike delivering the Charleston
She was a
Gazette.
paper girl.
Give me a kid. Yeah,
They give you a what? You're not good at speaking.
I'm not good at life.
What? You're doing great at life. Look at your mansion, your wife. You got it all. Give me a break. You're fine. Yeah, grit's pretty. I didn't think anybody would know what grit was. Don't feel bad.
Is it like the Whole Earth catalog?
Wait a minute, yo, Michael Ryan, you delivered grit?
No, he delivered papers.
Look at all these people that delivered papers. They're making you look like a jerk, aren't they?
He went to the same high school as Alice Cooper.
Really? I'm sure there was a few years difference in there.
Well, there's a lot of newspapers up there. Alice Cooper, voracious reader.
But you said no one else bought or sold newspapers. I knew that was crap. Other countries are just like us. It's not like they're over there beating a rock with a bone. They're better than they got stuff going on.
Do they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Interesting.
That's why they haven't delivered grit, because grit is stupid.
What is
That's
grit?
a stupid name for him. You know, like John Wayne had grit, true grit.
Right, but I mean, you never actually told me what grit was.
I told you. It's something they used to try to get you to sell in
Right,
comic
but
books.
what is it?
I never read it. I don't know.
Is it like Sea Monkeys?
No, grit's it's a newspaper.
Is it like
But it was like the Sea Monkey ads, yeah.
Well, okay, so it's that sort of a thing.
That's right.
Okay.
It's some kind of gimmick that they tried to get. Now, here's my next question before we let you go. How many people in this chat room, I hope there's still enough of you, have went to a horse race or bet on a horse? And you get triple points if you've actually bet or went to see the Grand National. How about that?
Look at that. Edwin works for the biggest Norse paper.
Wow. Yeah. Man, they're schooling you. Oh, man, they're just taking you. See, Wishbone's right there.
Edwin bet and won on a race.
Very good.
Do you remember the name of the horse, Edwin? Was it Plastic Fantastic? You've been to a track? Do they have car boot sales at your local horse track, Pixels?
That's my kind of race.
Everybody just pulls into the infield. Oh, it's a shame.
I love it. You know, one thing I enjoy about and I talk to my partner at work all the time. I love getting a global perspective on things.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that's great.
I do
because,
too.
I mean, really, I think America, in a weird way, is isolated. It's strange to say, but we don't get it. I think if everyone could share.
No, it's not strange because we're geographically isolated.
What I mean,
we're in the middle of the ocean.
Listen, we're not in Norway, but I'm hearing what's going on in Norway.
Yeah, you are.
We need a big mix-up.
I feel like by watching the Discord and reading the chat during the show, we are fully informed with what's going on throughout the world.
Whenever I read a Discord, I feel dumb and poor.
Well, yeah, that's because we are.
Because everyone in there is a genius, and they're loaded with why.
Yeah, they drive in their Ferraris, and they're like, "Hey guys," and then they just drive away.
Having worked at a track, and this is outside of the realm of the track. This is just working at a casino. That's a horrible job.
One of my best friends works at a casino. He makes more money than I do.
It's not. No, you're missing my point. Every Friday, I would work in the morning.
Did you deal?
No, I was there to do my thing.
Well, maybe that's
I
why.
came in. Oh, hear me out. And every morning in the morning, I would be there before they opened the doors. All right, I'd be there early.
Mm-hmm.
They'd open
When
the
they
doors.
open the doors, casinos are open 24 hours a day.
Not our casino.
Well, that was before it was a casino. It was just a track.
No, it was a casino.
It wasn't a casino. They didn't have table
let me get to the
games.
point here. I'd open the doors, and there'd be a million old people.
Yeah, they are spending their Social
rushing to
Security.
those slot machines.
Mm-hmm.
And they would spend every single dime they had. My boss back in the day, his mom was a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
She lost every cent.
Yeah.
Every cent.
It's a horrible thing.
And they bust these people in, these old people.
Yeah, they do.
And I mean, you talk about it's a like Night of the Living Dead with money.
Yeah.
They just ramble and shamble in.
Mm-hmm.
They sit down and they're like a little sewing circle. They're all their little buddies.
Yeah.
And the problem is when the old guy runs out of money, they're out of the club.
Yeah.
You know,
It
and
is.
of
It
course
really
the
is
casino is more than happy to keep the ball rolling on that.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because they want that old person money.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I don't frequent the casinos.
And so I would say the casino, I'd say 70% of its intake is the elderly.
Yeah.
The retired. And it is. Listen, I love a good gamble now and again. You know, I'll gamble. But you definitely have to keep your head and your wits about you.
I only gamble on esports.
Can you imagine? You know, they take bets on wrestling.
Yeah, they do.
There's odds.
There's action on everything, man.
Let me tell you what you've got. This is out of the UK, by the way. There are two types of wrestling bets. Pro wrestling, okay?
Mm-hmm. Give me 15 quid on haystacks.
Who's going to win? And what's the star rating going to be of the match? You can bet, for example, there's a huge show tomorrow, AEW's show from Chicago. You can bet on the star rating of the main event.
What does that mean, star rating?
There's a fellow named Dave Meltzer. He runs the Wrestling Observer. It's the ipso facto #1 wrestling newsletter.
This is the only true Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, that's right. I've talked about Dave before. I'm a subscriber to their site. And Dave gives matches a star rating, okay?
Okay.
And so these come off, as far as I can tell, these come off his star rating because he's the guy that came up with the whole rating system. 1 out of 5 stars, and he can even go into half stars or quarters. And so they'll be like, for example, the main event of the show may be a 4.5 star under, which means that you get the house wins at anything 4.5 and under. So if you're going to say, I'm going to bet they're a 5-star match, that's when you would get paid.
So really, Dave could be on the take.
He's not. Dave is an insane man. He's a great guy. He knows a lot about wrestling, but he would never. He's very. He has a lot of integrity for what he does. So, but yeah, he could conceivably be on the take. Yeah.
What would it take for you to become Dave Meltzer?
A lot of knowledge.
Because you know a lot already.
Here's the thing, in the circle of people that are into the Observer, I am the pimple on the hiney of Dave. These people are way ahead of me.
I can't believe that.
They know all kinds of stuff about like the days of Hackenschmidt and all these guys from the Strangler Lewis.
So it's just like they like. I mean, what era are we talking about?
Listen,
here?
if I said Boat, are you the #1 mind when it comes to old records?
No.
Okay, but you know more than a lot of people, don't you? Like, I'd say 80% of the people, you probably know more. But there's that 20% that are like, they laugh at your knowledge.
So these are the guys that like congregate around the Observer.
That's right. So, I mean, yes, like, I know a lot about hacking machines and doing ROM stuff. Hey, I know it, but can I actually do the hacking?
Right.
No.
Right.
I'm just a scrub. You know, but I mean, other people think I'm some sort of like deity of that stuff or hacking stuff. But really, any jerk can go on YouTube and be like, let's see here. Hacking the Wii. Here we go.
But here's the thing. Isn't wrestling knowledge essentially just trivia?
It's sports knowledge.
It's just knowing stuff.
But that's every knowledge, isn't it?
Well, I guess so. But I mean, like this Meltzer guy, okay? Like he gives a star rating.
He is such an esteemed gentleman. His rating carries the most weight.
But you could do something similar.
Could I give a star rating to matches?
Right.
Absolutely. But
I mean, you can score boxing.
If I score an Amiga game and I'm like, Lionheart, 5 out of 5 stars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, who the hell am I? I'm just some tubby doofus who has a little podcast. All right, but if someone like let's say
Shane Monroe?
Well, let's say Amiga Bill.
Okay.
If he says Lionheart, 5 out of 5 stars, he's got a lot of weight
Mm-hmm.
because he's a big player. He's a big mover and shaker. People listen to him. People will be like, 5 stars, man. Bill said that's a 5-star game. Then you got something. You know.
So it's really not so much Dave's like knowledge of the sport. It's
No, it
more
is
than
his. He's the number one guy. Knowledge, prestige, years in the sport. He's the number one guy.
How old is he?
He's near 60, I think. Yeah.
So he's been in it a long time.
Yeah.
Have you ever talked to him before?
No. Hey, 10 Minute just staggered in. Hey, 10. What's going on,
Mark,
dude?
what's up, man? $40 total in the casinos. Have you been to Vegas before? I can't remember.
I have been to Vegas. I have gambled. I've lost a bunch of money. Yeah. Here's my, and this may come as a shock to some of you folks, but this is my Achilles heel when it comes to gambling. The old booze. Because when you're in Vegas, they'll just keep, as long as you're gambling, they'll just keep feeding you booze.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure I've told this, but I got up at my casino. I walked downstairs. I sat at a bar. They had a blackjack video gimmick, it was a poker,
Right.
stuck in the bar.
Mm-hmm.
I said, bourbon. Bourbon comes by.
Yeah, it does.
I'm
Probably
saying,
cute little waitress brought
give me
it
a
to you,
change
too.
for 100 or whatever. I'm floating. No, it wasn't. But they were there. Floating that money in there, and I'm playing this game, and I'm bourbon. As soon as I'm empty, here they come. They don't have to even ask them. And then, I don't got no more money. I
The
look
bourbon
up.
stopped coming?
It's 11 a.m. I've been there for 2 hours. I lost all my money for the day. And guess what? You're cut off, sucker.
Yeah.
You're getting booze as long as you're gambling. Then the well done run dry when you run out of cash.
Yeah.
My buddy Rich, God rest his soul, he went there with a crap load of money, and they kept this guy liquored to the gills, and he spent every dime of thousands and thousands of dollars.
Wow.
He probably dropped 5 large. I went there and met him. I looked all over. He was sitting at a Wheel of Fortune slot machine, drunk out of his mind. He says, Aaron, I'm going to go over to this part of the casino to watch this show and get a drink. I need you to keep hitting this button until it says I'm out of credits. Okay. I just sat there and hit the button. There's no, because it's not like there's any skill involved.
There's no skill.
And then eventually, he ran out of credits. And that was all of his money gone. Brent went to Vegas. He studied how to play certain games, craps, which he thought he had the best odds at. He played craps. He won enough money to pay for his trip. He stopped playing.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
it.
Brent's really good at gambling. I've always
Yeah.
heard that.
It's irritating, frankly.
Yeah.
Well,
All right, guys. It's time to close her down. I got to hit the Kraken
we
again.
do ramble on, don't we? That's what old guys do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been a pretty short show. Oh no, I guess it's been about we've been at about 2 hours. Just wait till next
I
week.
told Tree, I was like, I'll be out of here. I'll be out of there by 6:30.
When we start the Coco show next week.
Listen, I can't do another show.
Coco Knots,
You do a show.
Coco Tacular.
Just branch out and do a boat show.
Who am I going to talk to?
You find some other scrub. You found me.
How many scrubs do you think I know?
Listen, all you got to do, boat. Your boat, car. You're the talent. What you do is you go out and you get at some doofus, all right, and you put him in the chair.
That's what I've done here.
No, for your other show, you need Doofus Jr. because I'm already doing 2 of these, and then you get this guy, and then you make with the funny ha-ha. Doofus will chime in occasionally going like, that's a good one, and then you bet your show.
That sounds horrible. I wouldn't listen to that. I need somebody with real Coco knowledge, somebody that's been in the thick
Brent
of
had a
things.
Coco.
No,
You
he
and Brent
didn't.
don't have a show.
Brent was 3 years old when you had the Coco.
We had a Coco until he was older than that. We had it until 85.
No, Brent was playing the Nest at that time.
Listen, don't give me that. See,
Listen, if I can't play
Samwise
Sailor Man
likes it.
and hear your thoughts on it,
boy, 10 minute, you made my day, sir.
yeah, it is true. It is true.
There it
Look
is.
at that. Look at that 26-inch python.
I gotta crank up the gun show.
Yeah.
My kid came in with that. Hey, Dad, you want to see something? What's that? The gun show. I'm gonna take
yeah.
it. And he started pumping them up, man.
Yeah. You need to get him one of those tank tops that say "Sun's out, guns out." All right, guys. We'll see you later.
I've enjoyed seeing you guys. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Adios.